Sorry, thanks. Welcome to Stark Vegas. This is Davis-Wade Stadium under the lights as Mississippi State looks to grab momentum in a season that is quickly dwindling. The Bulldogs lined up and ready to take the field against the Auburn Tigers tonight in Stark Vegas. Auburn arrived and ready to go, some with sheepskins in hand, on a big day for these Auburn Tigers. Both teams trying to snap two-game losing streaks. As the door rises, the Bulldogs arrive en masse on the field in Starkville. And here's State. Both teams coming down the home stretch with the cowbells ringing. Mississippi State in its penultimate regular season game in year number 1 of the Mike Leach era. And Gus Malzahn and the Auburn Tigers for the final time in the regular season take the field. Welcome to SEC Saturday night. Christmas sweaters abound. It's a shame we can't go on camera because you would love to see Jordan Rodgers right now. Tom Hart, Jordan Rodgers, Coach Hublick. And Jordan, momentum is a fickle thing in college football. Yes, both of these teams are on two-game losing streaks, but they're each trying to grab it before the season comes to an end.
Yeah, and I think Mississippi State really has some positive momentum. Yes, they've lost 2 games in a row, but by 1 score in each of those games. And this nucleus of true freshmen with Will Rogers, Jaquavius Marks, and Jaden Walley are really starting to hit their stride, and this offense is as well.
Gus Malzahn has had success throughout his career when he can establish a running game. And they're 3-1 this season with 200 yards or more on the ground, and that bears good news for this Auburn team, which is healthy in the backfield now with Tank Bigsby.
Yeah, and one of the most talented running backs in the entire country. When he's healthy, he is so fun to watch. And you mentioned it, Auburn needs to run the football well for Bo Nix to hit his stride and for this offense to hit its stride. And they're going to lean heavily on Tank Bigsby. So explosive, so physical. If he gets going downfield, downhill, it's going to be a good day for this offense.
Bigsby second among FBS freshmen in career rushing yards. Could be a busy night for him. It was a busy day for a couple of Auburn Tigers. For more, here's Cole.
Yeah, guys, Jordan mentioned good day. What was your most memorable day? Well, you have to think it's pretty safe that today was that day for Auburn defenders Jordan Peters and Big Cat Bryant. It started at noon in Auburn in a cap and gown. Received their diplomas today on campus in Auburn, Alabama. Well, that obviously is not where they are at this moment. Those two would get on a plane at about 2:40 Central Time, and they would fly to Starkville, Mississippi, where we are here now, and they'll trade that cap and gown for shoulder pads, helmets, and an Auburn uniform. You see Jordan Peters there. They got to the stadium, had a pregame meal at the airport at about 3:45. There's Big Cat Bryant. They got here a little bit earlier than the team did, came over by themselves, and they will be suited up and starting for this Auburn defense tonight, playing an SEC game against Mississippi State. Pretty cool game, guys. I don't know if that's what your best day in your life was, but you think about being 20, 21, 22 years old, it's going to be tough to top that one for a while.
I mean, everything besides the airport meal, and I'm sold. I think that's a great day. It's been a couple of good days at quarterback for Will Rogers of Mississippi State. Pretty good Egg Bowl, even though they didn't win the thing. He's playing with a lot more confidence at that position.
And that's what it's going to take. It's going to take time for this air raid. It's a unique offense to learn as a true freshman in the SEC. That's hard enough. You add an offense that is complex in some ways, simple in others, like Mike Leach, and you expect it to take time. But Will Rogers has really played extremely well the last 3 games, and I expect him to continue upon that tonight.
Mississippi State won the toss. The Bulldogs have deferred, so Auburn's offense will be on the field to get started. Brandon Ruiz will kick it off for State. Eli Stoll and Ladarius Tennyson back to receive for Auburn. And we are underway in Stark Vegas. No chance for a return. And so the sophomore from Pinson, Alabama, Bo Nix, will come out with this Auburn offense. Coming off of a game against Texas A&M where Bo Nix did most of his damage on the ground in Gus Malzahn's offense. He threw for 144. He carried it for almost 5 yards a tote, including a couple of touchdowns. And he's talked about his confidence in his run game and his speed being higher than it's ever been. And he's got great confidence, by the way, with Tank Bigsby starting behind him in this backfield.
Really want to see Bo Nix be confident and operate from the pocket in passing situations tonight.
He'll throw it a first down. Anthony Schwartz is able to get the edge, and a face mask helped bring him down. It'll be a penalty on Colin Duncan on the tail end of a 7-yard catch and run.
If you look here, you're going to see it's a great game starter, great drive starter. Get the ball in Anthony Schwartz's hands. He's your fastest, most athletic player. Let him do something in space. Gets a face mask call there. But if you watched last week against Texas A&M, Bo Nix did some great things with his legs, but he missed a few opportunities, missed a wheel route that could have been a touchdown, missed another one that he didn't even throw because his eyes were in the wrong spot. Could have stepped up in the pocket a few times. Really looking for him to develop the little things that you might not see unless you really dive into the film, but pay big dividends for this offense.
Lee Hedrick is our white hat tonight. Announced a face mask penalty. Tank Bigsby hit in the backfield by Aaron Brule, and it's a loss of 2. What a great job Mississippi State has done against the run this season in the 3-3-5 defense of first-year coordinator Zach Arnett. Nix to throw. Pressure. Shook one. Check behind him and throws incomplete. Aaron Brule once again got into the backfield.
Keep an eye on the right side of that offensive line, fellas. Brendan Coffey, 55, getting the start at right tackle for Auburn. Coaching staff thought Rodarius Ham was going to be able to give it a go tonight. Went the majority of the way against Alabama. He's been dinged up, banged up here in the last portion of the season. Not going to be in the lineup to start it off for the Tigers tonight.
Huge loss for Auburn. Meanwhile, Sean Shivers enters on this third down opportunity. We expect limited time for Shivers tonight, but primarily on third down due to protection.
And Mississippi State really wanted to pressure from the field tonight. Zach Arnett mentioned that, with that right tackle being new and Brendan Coffey, something to keep an eye on.
3rd and 12. Nick steps up once again over his shoulder look, and he fires incomplete. No, Seth Williams came up with it. We'll see where they mark it. Look just shy of the sticks. Great grab by Seth Williams, all 6'3" of them.
Boy, just a great job. Look at that right foot. Tough to tell from there. It does look like it's in bounds, and look at the focus. Great job by Bo Nix out of the pocket, giving his receiver a chance there. That's why he's so dangerous, and that's why Zach Arnett mentioned he wanted to blitz from the field to try to limit the space Bo Nix had. He said, look, if he's going to scramble, I'd rather him scramble to the short side of the field, not with all that green grass. That time he got to the grass, but it's still going to come up short.
Mentioned Lee Hedrick. Here's another look. Cole, I'm not in the stadium. Can you tell me what he said?
Did not hear it over the loudspeakers, Tom.
I'm going to read lips there. I think he said it was ruled an incomplete pass. They're going to review it. To me, we just saw the one angle there, and he definitely secured the football. It'll then be his right foot on the sideline there. So be a good shot here. Watch his hands. He's got full control of the football. It's that right foot, that right toe. Is it on the white? Obviously can't tell from this angle.
Yeah, I don't know that we have an angle that would allow you to overturn it.
Yeah. Man, and that's unfortunate, because that's a heck of a catch right there.
They needed 12. It was a completion of 11 if they do overturn it, which would still leave them with a 4th and 1. I just love Mike Leach's sweatshirt. I mean, it's beautiful in its simplicity. It's like Belushi wearing the college sweatshirt. Once again, the catch, not the argument, it's the toe, we think. And whether or not it was on the sidelines and out of bounds. Ron Leatherwood is our replay official in the stadium. And of course, they're looking it over at headquarters in Birmingham as well.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Incomplete pass, fourth down.
Oscar Chapman on to punt it away. They'll take the catch away from Williams. Austin Williams back to receive for Mississippi State. We'll talk further about Bo Nix and the desire of his offensive coordinator, Chad Morris, to stay in the pocket and how that could make a difference on plays just like that. Under duress, the freshman Chapman gives it away, and Austin Williams will take a fair catch. 35-yard punt. And here's Mississippi State freshman Will Rogers. We touched on it a moment ago, Jordan, but what a run he's been on in the back half of the season.
Yeah, in his fourth start here, you see him grow up a little bit more each game. And what I love is he is protecting the football. No turnover, no interceptions in his last 159 attempts. That's 3 games and 5 touchdowns over that span. That was the problem early with Mississippi State, turning the football over, throwing interceptions. He hasn't been doing that.
He's second to only Kyle Trask in consecutive passes completed without an interception. Coming off of a monster Egg Bowl. Shovel pass to Lee Witherspoon, and he'll slide through for a pickup of 2. Big Cap Bryant, sheepskin in hand, and Bulldog to the turf. Pretty good day for big number 1 for Auburn.
Any day that's got a private jet involved is a pretty good day in my book. I wouldn't know, but you, Tom, you and your Blue Delta sponsorship probably would know.
I flew down to my basement just for this game. Jaquavius Marks in the backfield now for State. And Rogers to throw for the first time and tipped at the line of scrimmage. Talking with Auburn defensive coordinator Kevin Steele, and defending the air raid, the biggest concern for him was the mesh concept that they'll use within the air raid. But Jordan, on top of that, the running back coming out of the backfield is always a concern, because according to Steele, that's just like their run. That's how they run the ball.
Yeah, it is. And really, they want you to vacate out, play zone, and get out of the space, and they'll dump it down. Or if they are in man, which Auburn likes to run a lot of man one high, I'm interested to see how much they do it tonight, because last team to do it was LSU, and Mississippi State lit them up.
Yeah, KJ Costello threw for an SEC record that day. Over the middle, almost got the ref, nearly Picasso'd him. Jaden Wally was the intended receiver.
And that was man free right there. And this is what you're going to see. If Auburn does go man free, they're going to be space in the middle of the field. And that's who Will Rogers wants to get the ball to. Jaden Wally, his talented true freshman that's really come on the last 3 or 4 games. But that's great defense there. If they can be tight in man coverage, break those up, that's a good recipe. But playing man coverage will leave a lot of grass open, so keep an eye on that.
Tucker Day to punt it away. Eli Stove, the senior from Florida, back to receive. Both offenses trading punts here early on, and a big hit will bring a flag. And the hit responded to. We got the second guy getting caught, the third guy getting caught. Martin Emerson is the first one to get flagged after that 43-yard punt. That happened to me when I tried to cut in front of Cole at Chick-fil-A.
Give me my nugs.
I don't think that was targeting, but when we get another look at it, that'll be the first thing that's reviewed, if it is. The shove was answered by Anthony Schwartz. Here's another look at it. Crown of the helmet, defenseless.
Kick catching interference on the kicking team number 1. After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the receiving team number 1. The 15-yard penalties will both be enforced. First down.
Wow, in a series that has been dominated by the home team and started in 1905, we got some old-fashioned pushing and shoving. It's almost like football is a contact sport. Let's trade 15-yard flags.
Dorinoka in studio. Let's go to the Swamp for an update. 6th-ranked Florida taking on LSU after a Gator touchdown. Max Johnson, first career start for the true freshman. Little floater to Jeray Jenkins. We are tied at 7. Florida driving early second quarter. Gents.
All right, Dari, thanks. By the way, LSU's first touchdown drive in the first quarter since the South Carolina game. Quick hitter to Seth Williams, and he's able to fight forward to pick up 3 yards. Emmanuel Forbes in on the stop. Jordan, let's do a deep dive on this Auburn. We've got 2 great receivers, Seth Williams, Anthony Schwartz. Eli Stove is not too shabby himself. It doesn't seem like they're as involved as they could be.
No, they need to do a better job of getting their playmakers the ball, and not just on these perimeter quick screens, but they got to get them involved downfield. You got Anthony Schwartz, one of the fastest guys in the SEC, just 3 receptions on balls that have been thrown more than 15 yards all year.
With quad receivers to the right, they run it left with Tank Bigsby. He's been the highlight for this offense. He picks up 14 before Errol Thompson puts him out of bounds.
And anytime you want to start pushing the ball downfield, this has to happen for Auburn, right? You got to start running the football downhill to open up that play action, which they got to do for Schwartz, and they got to do for Williams as well. Williams has 0 receptions beyond 15 yards in the last 3 weeks. They just got to get those guys involved downfield. Here we go.
Deep drop. Nix going to vacate the pocket on the run with a little pump fake and lower his shoulder on Forbes. Talking with Chad Morris yesterday, he said we've got to get Bo Nix to stand tall in the pocket, and he needs to understand in this game you need to step up in the pocket and you need to be aware that you will take a hit, but deep shots will be there if you're willing to stay tall.
And you got to not focus on the rush. I think if you really dive into Bo Nix and you watch film on him, he gets his eyes on the rush. He starts to see things as they're happening, which a quarterback, you got to be looking downfield or you never have a chance. That time, I think he left the pocket a little early again.
Empty backfield. Bigsby split out to the right. Go route, and Seth Williams never got there. Defended by Emerson, the corner.
I do like how Chad Morris has been utilizing shifts, motions, and moving Seth Williams around. If you look at the first half of the season, he was in the boundary almost all the time, moving him around much more to try to create those opportunities. Just a little bit of a disconnect. And right now on 3rd and 5, I'd be trying to isolate Anthony Schwartz. You're going to see him in the slot right here at the bottom of your screen.
They'll bunch him up with Williams. Nix looking that direction, flushed on the run again, and he's able to fit it in with Errol Thompson on the coverage. It'll be just short of the first down as Schwartz came back for it, and that'll leave 4th and 1.
And that was a great play design, right? You had a stack of receivers, Anthony Schwartz working on a little option route underneath. Unfortunately, Nix got pressured a little bit before he was able to release that in rhythm, which they would have picked up the first down, but I like rolling the dice here. Auburn is all about momentum. This is kind of dead man's area for field goals. Roll the dice, get the ball going downhill with Tank Bigsby.
1 of 6 on 4th down this season. Nix trying to run for it, and he surges ahead and picks up a fresh set of downs.
Or let your mobile quarterback bail you out right there. This is a read. That end crashes down. Bo Nix trying to throw the quick flat route to Eli Stove. That gets covered as well. Does a good job of making a quick decision to use his mobility and pick up that first down.
There will be opportunities for Auburn in this game tonight against Zach Arnett's defense. Arnett coaches defense just like Mike Leach coaches offense. They will take chances. They will send extra guys. Swing out to Eli Stove, looking for a block, and he takes it inside the 30. Cole, it's interesting talking to Mike Leach as the OC. And Zach Arnett is the DC, and they both speak the same language, even though they're on opposite sides of the ball.
Everybody knows Mike Leach is pretty simple. You know he throws it around, but it's been documented that it's not a ton of plays. You just have options off of plays. We tried to get very specific with Zach Arnett yesterday. What you do in this situation against this personnel grouping? He said, hey, guys, I call plays, man. Like we bring a pressure, we line up here, we do this. Sometimes we attack, sometimes we don't. It's very similar as far as the mindset of how, what, where, when, and why.
Played his college ball at the University of New Mexico, an Albuquerque native, and Bigsby, the freshman, carries it forward to pick up 6. And that'll leave a fresh set of downs again for Auburn.
And Tom, even though this is an aggressive attacking defense, I believe that's one of the reasons that they've been able to be successful. You send what have we heard D coordinators say all year? Let's just get our cleats in the ground. Let's just get lined up. Well, if you make a call and it might not be the right call, but it's an aggressive call, just stick with it. Tell your guys, go out there and play ball. Go out there and try to make a play.
That was Nick Saban's concern today before the game against Arkansas. I think they got lined up pretty well against Arkansas's tempo. Bad traffic in the backfield. Nix once again takes the Parkway, throws it across the field, and falls incomplete, trying to find Eli Stowe.
I tell you what, as much as we're going to harp on, and Chad Morris and Gus Malzahn even did about Bo Nix staying in the pocket, there's been a lot of run-throughs. I mean, this is not a pocket that you can stay in right here. You got 2 or 3 Mississippi State defenders coming into the backfield, and Nix does a great job of using his mobility, and that's a dangerous throw. Got away with one there.
2nd and 10 for Nix. 61% completion on the season. Here's Schwartz. And he reaches for the marker. As he did so, the ball popped out seemingly after his knee was down, and they'll mark him a yard short. Auburn 0 for 2 on 3rd down so far tonight. This is a 3rd and 1. Look at this, a huddle. Nix under center. QB sneak. Looks like he picked up the 1st down from here.
The greatest 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 call there is. And you'll see Auburn do this every now and then. They call this a little muddle huddle, right? A tight huddle really close to the line of scrimmage. They're trying to disguise what they're doing. They'll run a few different things off that, not just the quarterback sneak there.
Second drive of the night for the Tigers. Back to the run game, and Shivers picks up 4. Cole, how do you judge the job that Auburn's offensive line has done this season?
Well, it's difficult to tell because they played so many different guys. This is the 5th different starting unit that they've had this entire season, obviously playing 10 games. So half your games are playing with a different offensive line. They've had multiple injuries. I think based on the circumstances, the hand that they've been dealt, they've played above average. Hasn't been great, hasn't been elite.
Nick Brahms, the center, has been their leader this season, with Ham out with an injury tonight. Nix off his back foot, end zone, jump ball, batted away, trying to go to Williams, and Colin Duncan knocked it down for Mississippi State.
And this is one of those times that Bo Nix doesn't need to move here, right? Why are you falling away on that throw? You know, stay strong in the pocket. If you don't drift, you can maybe get a little more velocity on that ball. You're throwing it to the far sideline. That is a big throw. You need your feet underneath you. That's a time that he's leaving the pocket, getting off platform when he doesn't need to, and it leads to some of those inaccuracies.
14th play of the drive for the Tigers. Nix once again chased out of the pocket. On the run, back to the end zone, too high. And a frustrated Seth Williams didn't have a shot at it.
Tom, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but Gus Malzahn harped on it. Chad Morris harped on it. Watch the pocket develop. Interior, you're fine. Where are we going? Right? I mean, you can't play the quarterback position on the run all the time, especially when you don't have to. Right? Design Outside the pocket plays, I'm fine with. I'm fine with making plays when you got pressure on you. That's back-to-back plays where he's moved and he hasn't needed to out of the pocket.
27-yard attempt for Anders Carlson. And he bangs it through. And so Auburn gets 3 out of that lengthy drive, a 15-play, 40-yard drive. Seth Williams didn't have a shot, so what did he do? He kicked his shoe into the stand. Somebody go get those 13s.
SEC Network Football is presented by Allstate. You've never been in better hands.
Penultimate home game of the season for Mississippi State. It is senior night, though, tonight in Starkville. 13 seniors participating in a year that everybody gets a free year. And what a roller coaster ride it's been for this senior class. 3 games over 500. They played under 3 different head coaches, Mullen, Moorhead, and then Leach. And they've appeared in a bowl game in their first 3 seasons. No reason to expect they wouldn't go back for their 4th. Carlson to kick it away. Griffin and Witherspoon back. And no return. Let's find out what's going on in Gainesville. Here's Dari.
Yeah, boys, it's gotten wild at the Swamp. 7-7 game. Kyle Trask has thrown just 3 interceptions all season, but here you can make it 4. Eli Ricks with the pick, and then he goes 68 to the house. So LSU takes a 14-7 lead. Now, Florida back in deep inside LSU territory. Watch this play. It is wild on the sideline. Trask throws. It's going to go off of a Gator receiver, then an LSU defender, and reestablishing position inbounds for the pick is Jay Ward. LSU ball up 14-7.
A little bit of everything tonight. And by the way, with that Trask pick, that means Rogers is now leading the way. It's now 170 consecutive attempts without an interception. Pressured, hung the ball out, and somehow escapes, able to fall forward. It's still a sack and a loss of 6, but he's lucky the Butler didn't just take it from him.
And this is what Auburn's got to be able to do. As Derek Hall coming inside on a rush here, winning on Greg Island. He's got to get pressure on Mississippi State. They've done a good job the last few games. This O-line continues to improve, and that's something that Auburn hasn't shown an ability to do like they have in the past. Disrupt the quarterback, especially from that front 4.
2nd and 16 now. 3-man rush. It's Marks out of the backfield. And Marks got absolutely rocked by Zacoby McClain, who's been a tackling machine since he first put on pads down in South Georgia.
I mean, he is so fun to watch. You want to watch a guy that loves playing football. He's a 6-foot, 210-pound interior linebacker in the SEC. This is not the traditional size and shape of a linebacker you're used to seeing, but this is the new era of linebackers. As offenses get more wide open, you need guys that are leaner, quicker, and can play better in space, and he does that. As good, if not better than anybody in this league.
He had 17 stops against A&M. Pressure. Rogers gets rid of it, and we got a flag on the play off the hands of Jaden Wally. Smoke Monday in coverage. Let's see what the flag is.
Offside on the defense, number 1. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, 3rd down.
Big Cat Bryant jumped.
A little jet lag, huh?
Right.
From that graduation. He's had a busy day. That graduation this morning. Jumped offside there.
Well, he's been aggressive the whole time. I mean, he walked right by the handshake when he was getting his degree earlier today.
He's got a game. He's like, I don't got time for a handshake. I got a plane to catch. I'm playing tonight.
Austin Williams in motion on 3rd and 4. Rogers lobs down the sideline. Whoa! Incomplete. Marks got put on his backside. That'll draw a flag. And Darius Tennyson. It's not the first time Will Rogers has hung one of his receivers out to dry on the sideline. He did that in the Egg Bowl with Jaden Wally, who held on.
And that was That's too bad because that was great coverage all across the board by Auburn.
Personal foul, targeting on the defense, number 13. That play is under review.
This is a big position that Auburn can't afford to lose somebody. Christian Tutt already out of this game due to injury. And now Tennyson in danger of being
And there's
chucked.
just no need for this, right? It's great coverage underneath. And that ball is passed. It's a defenseless receiver there. Look, a true freshman out there. Probably the biggest role he's had all year with Christian Tutt being out. It's just, you want to be flying around, but you can't make mistakes like this when you don't even need to initiate contact there. And look, when it's a defenseless receiver, it doesn't have to be crown of the helmet. As long as there's an indicator, which it seems like there was, he lowered his shoulder, lowered his head plane there, initiated forcible contact to the head or neck area. That's by the book right there. This should be targeting, right? See the indicator. That's what they're looking for. Leaning in, lowering the helmet there. It doesn't have to be crown of the helmet because it's a defenseless player. So forcible contact. Now they're going to be looking at, was it chest? Was it neck area? That'll be the determining factor. I think they will say this is targeting.
I think Kevin Steele's defense will be down a key position.
Again, it's got to be head or neck area. So that's what they're looking at, right? There's an indicator. It's forcible contact. Where was the contact initiated?
After review, there is no foul for targeting. Number 13 may remain in the game. 4th down.
Wow. You agree with that?
Well, it was hard to see from behind, right? If it was more in the chest on the numbers, then it's not targeting, right? It's got to be forcible to the head or neck area. He did get his head out of the way. Again, it doesn't really matter. It can be with a shoulder, it can be with an elbow, but right there, they're just determining that that wasn't the head or neck area. It was lower than that. So good for Auburn because that position's already thin, and young true freshman will learn from that play.
Well, they took the targeting off. They also picked up the flag for unnecessary roughness. That would have at least been a first down, even though Tennyson would have stayed in the game. Tucker Data punted away, and Eli Stowe to receive for Auburn. Stowe will have a chance here. Kind of an awkward catch, and he never got going. Caught it up on his shoulder pads. 5:04 to go in the first quarter after that 47-yard punt. 4 on the return. Back in a moment.
Well, it's been the good and the bad from Bo Nix. You saw it last week. Missed opportunities. This one, got to get the ball up earlier and not drift away. I know there's pressure, but you got to stand firm in the pocket and throw an accurate throw there, and that would be a touchdown here. Standing strong in the pocket when he's balanced, he's as good of a thrower as anybody in this conference. He's extremely talented, great arm talent and accuracy, but those bad habits, when you get hit too much, you start to drift, you start to see things that aren't there, and that's the good and bad from Bo Nix.
It's been a challenging season all the way around as Bigsby gets cut down after a solid run on first down. But talking with offensive coordinator Chad Morris, we asked him if individual growth has been impacted by the season, and he said, listen, everything's been cut down. Practices are shorter. Time on the field is shorter. Absolutely. We do everything we can to work with our guys every day, but it's just not the same. It's not a normal season. Here's Bigsby now, bouncing it to the outside. Picked up 5 when he needed 4.
And when you look at Bo Nix, you know, in his second year, you start to look for these signs of development, but it is a new offense. And just like you mentioned, a new offense in an offseason that was non-traditional. So you expect maybe a little slower growth this year. But right now at the end of the season, you need to start seeing some of these things come together.
Asked Bo, how do you work on pocket awareness during the season? He said, well, it starts with preparing for the protection. And if I work with my center, Nick Brahms, and we get the protection right, we know everything pre-snap, then we have an advantage. But if you're not prepared for the protection, then you're behind the 8 ball to start. Here's Schwartz, and he bursts through to midfield, and another first down for Auburn on a pickup of 12.
And that's a great point, Tom. You know, as a quarterback, when quarterbacks say things slow down, it's when you narrow your focus, right? If you're worried about all 11 defenders, then you're never going to have the game slow down. But if you can X out those guys in the box because you know the protection, then you start to narrow your focus and the game slows down. So it's a big step for Bo Nix.
Bigsby hesitated in the backfield. Flag coming in for the offensive line. It's a pickup of 4.5.
Looks like it's going to be holding on Nick Brahms, the center there. Got beaten, dragged the guy down.
Gus Malzahn said he was so proud of Brahms and what this offensive line has accomplished this season, given the circumstances.
On the offense, number 52, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, first down.
Cole, take the flag away from Nick Brahms for a second. Let's ignore that. Just how does a center work with a quarterback, especially a young quarterback, when it comes to identifying the proper pressures and protections?
Well, first thing is trust. Your quarterback has to have an understanding that you know what the front is, you know what the look is, and you can get into the right protection. Quarterback doesn't trust you, and he's constantly trying to override. That's where miscommunication happens.
Nix pulls it back from Shivers on the read. He bursts off a 5-yard run. Errol Thompson with the stop. 2nd and 5 coming up.
You know, following up on Brahms, I think he's been the most consistent offensive lineman Auburn's had this year. Now, some of that because of injury. Brandon Council was a really nice addition. He was versatile, came in, played some different positions. It was kind of that Austin Golson that Gus Malzahn had a couple of years ago. But Brahms has been solid. He's been durable. And he's been a guy that Gus Malzahn, Chad Morris have been able to rely on this entire season.
Empty backfield for Bo Nix. Pressure up the middle. He's chased from the pocket again. And Nix on the run. Fires complete to Stove. That time it does go. Similar play to Seth Williams on the first drive. It's a pickup of 6.
See, and this is why it's so hard. This conversation we're having about staying in the pocket. There's so many times that he can't stay in the pocket, and he does great things like that. Avoiding the rush when it is in your face and still getting a positive play. That's the 2nd or 3rd time we've seen him get outside the pocket and pick something up. Now on 3rd and 9. Let's see if they can give him a clean pocket.
It was Brule who brought the pressure a moment ago. Now Errol Thompson is lined up like he's going to bring pressure. Shivers the running back. 4-man rush, 3rd and 9. Back foot behind the receiver, and then a pop at the end, trying to find Stove. And it'll bring up 4th down and some jawing afterwards. It was Colin Duncan who laid the wood on Stove after the pass was already past him.
That's a good concept. You got an out from the slot and Anthony Schwartz with some green grass. Ball just ended up being behind. Let's watch Bo Nix in the pocket here. Just, you know, just falling away, right? I mean, it's really hard to play quarterback and be accurate without your feet set. And there's guys that can do it, but predominantly when you're not on balance, you're not going to be accurate.
And Eli Stove is getting run over left and right. Got run over on that punt, got popped on that one as Williams takes a fair catch and a 37-yard punt. Dr. Pepper Fansville giving fans the keys to the game.
And for Auburn, we mentioned it, explosive plays through the air downfield. Really haven't seen them take those shots. And on defense, got to mix up the looks, right? They like man coverage, got to mix in zone every now and then to throw Will Rogers off. And for Mississippi State, run the ball in the red zone, convert touchdowns down there. They've struggled, and get pressure on Bo Nix, as we've seen them do already tonight. One of the reasons that Mississippi State having some success.
Great visit with Mike Leach this week. We covered everything from aliens to candy canes. Here's the screen. Malik Heath able to bend it back outside. We're not joking. We talked aliens, candy canes, his favorite Christmas movies. He said, listen, if anybody tells you that they don't like Bad Santa, they're lying. That was number 3 on his list of the best Christmas movies.
Yeah, you know, Leach is one of those guys that's not afraid to talk a little Bigfoot conspiracy theory, some aliens, and there was some news this week, and I'm kind of a space nerd myself, so we had a little chat, and then we got to the football stuff.
How do we feel about his Christmas movies? He went Christmas Story, Wonderful Life, and Bad Santa.
I tell you what, I love It's a Wonderful Life. Christmas Story is not big for me. I know a lot of people love it. I like Bad Santa. I wouldn't say it's in my top 10 of Christmas movies, but it's not bad.
Not bad for Dylan Johnson. A 10-yard gain for the freshman from Greenville, Mississippi.
It was an emotional pick for Leach, though. He told us, he said, hey, I got a BB gun when I was a kid. Shot a bunch of things.
Yeah.
So it tugs at the heartstrings for him. I think it's a terrible movie.
Oh, terrible.
You're welcome.
Wow. You'll shoot your eye out. Pressure. And they're able to find Wally for the first time. Jaden Wally, the freshman from D'Iberville, Mississippi, is having a remarkable back half of the season.
Yeah, the offense has really taken off and changed in the last 3 or 4 weeks as he started to emerge. And if you think about it, Will Rogers, true freshman, Jaden Wally, a true freshman. Neither of them were starting the first half of the season. Probably got a lot of extra reps on the second team after practice. Their chemistry, one of the reasons they've had such a strong connection.
Rogers to the sideline. Osiris Mitchell with the grab. And State starting to find some rhythm now. That's a pickup of 8.
A little bit of a different look from Kevin Steele here. 3 down. Big Cap Bryant off the football. Kind of reminiscent of that really strange look that he gave LSU fits with a season ago when Joe Burrow was there.
That is the end of the
A
first
low
quarter.
scoring first quarter. Auburn with a field goal, and that's all so far. I imagine more points to come as we head to the second.
Something to believe.
ESPN, home of the college football playoff, coming New Year's Day.
Football playoff semifinals, New Year's Day, the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl. Earlier today, Bill Hancock, executive director of the CFP, put out this statement. Looking forward to the semifinals on the 1st, championship game on the 11th. We are being meticulous and we are confident we'll be ready. Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers, Cole Kubelik, Mississippi State back to Dylan Johnson running the ball. Needed 3, maybe got it. And we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, with that
Rogers, the freshman quarterback. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that running game, Tom, was something we talked to Coach Leach about. And this appears to be a big physical Mississippi State offensive line, but he said his concerns were that they might not have enough power, enough strength to consistently run the football as much as he would want to. Historically low numbers for Mississippi State this season, but Coach Leach did say that's something he wants to do more of as seasons progress here in Starkville.
3rd and 1, and one matchup to keep your eye on is at nose. Tyrone Truesdale on Cole Smith. We'll talk about that in a moment. State needs one. They're going to go to the running game to try and get it. They get plenty of it. It's Dylan Johnson who pushes ahead all the way down to the 45 and a pickup of 9.
Oh, Tom, you called it out. That's an excellent job by Cole Smith. Get a little bit of lift right here in the middle of your picture. Ride that combo up to the second level. Linebacker kind of takes himself out of the play. Nice job by the back, just sort of having a little bit of patience, feeling it out there, and Dylan Johnson getting upfield. This 2-back set was something that Mike Leach wanted to work in a little bit more of today as well.
Dylan Johnson and Witherspoon, the 2 backs that flank Rogers. Witherspoon leaves. Rogers going deep. Almost a sensational one-handed grab by Malik Heath, and then he got a welcome to tonight shot. Nearly knocked him off his Zoom call. It was Jacoby McClain who came up with the shot.
What time you
Cole,
Ricochet rabbit, as Kevin Steele calls him.
Yeah, Cole mentioned this defense. They're playing man on the outside, and these linebackers are dropping into zone. They really want to take away those crossers, those digs, those seam routes in the middle. Cole, you mentioned LSU last year. It's exactly what they did to them because LSU loved to attack the middle of the field, as does Leach's offense.
Rogers will go to Marks out of the backfield. A little bit high, hung him out, and he almost got cut in half. It's a loss of 2. Zion Puckett, second-year freshman with the stop for Auburn.
it sounds a little crazy, but that part of the Auburn defense has been impressive for me tonight. The tackling. You see the rushing numbers and you say, well, they only rush for 25 yards a game. Why is tackling so important? You're going to have those opportunities in space. There have been some issues in the Auburn secondary the last few games with getting ball carriers to the ground. Haven't seen that tonight.
Auburn looks like they're going to bring pressure here, go man one high.
Can't quite get to Rodgers. He'll give ground, lob it up down the sideline, and it's intercepted by Auburn, taken away by McCreary. He's got the sideline, and he's finally forced out near midfield. Third pick of the season for the junior from Mobile. Trash streak came to an end tonight, and now Will Rogers' streak comes to an end.
That was just great coverage. I mentioned they brought pressure. They went man coverage. It's kind of a double-edged sword sometimes. If you miss or blow a coverage on the outside, you can get hit big. But Auburn in man coverage has been great so far tonight. Will Rogers had nowhere to go with the ball. Watch this coverage on the outside. Everybody, where are you throwing the football if you're Will Rogers? Every receiver is blanketed, and as a young quarterback, this is what you can't do. You can't make a bad play worse, right? Defense wins there. Chalk it up. You're in plus territory. Got a decision to make on third down.
And so Auburn will have a short field right after this. And Mike Leach talking him through it. Meanwhile, on the other side, a takeaway for Auburn, and a big one. Holding on to a 3-0 lead early in the second quarter. Don Shivers in the game for the Tigers. Big J.J. Pegues comes in motion. Nix, quick hitter to the outside. That's Eli Stove. And Stove picks up 5. Cole, how do you look at these Auburn wide receivers?
Well, a lot of ability, a lot of talent. Anthony Schwartz is the guy that you would love to see more opportunities for down the field. I think he's excelled as a receiver. He's really gone much further than a track guy. And Seth Williams is a 50-50 ball nightmare. They don't get the opportunities that you would like to see guys that have their ability get.
Both Stove and Williams are fronted by tight ends respectively, and they'll get it out to Williams. A deal in front of him, couldn't get a block, and it'll be a loss of yardage. London Kraft comes in to blow it up, and Auburn goes backwards a yard.
A lot of times you put a bigger body out there, a bonus big out wide, Tom. One, you bring more attention to it. Two, you bring bigger bodies out there who are going to be a little bit more physical and more capable of making those kind of tackles.
Sweaters and cowbells, pretty good night in Starkville, 3rd and 6. Quickly to Stove. Nowhere to go, and Mississippi State comes up with another big stop. Errol Thompson in on the tackle. It's a pickup of only 2.
Trying to get a quick throw out in the flat again. Pre-snap read right here. Screen was there. Obviously, ball's got to be delivered on time. It was. Blockers can't get out and get contact. Auburn going to go for it on 4th down again.
It's a Mississippi State defense which has been playing above its weight all season. Now 4th and 4. Shivers in the backfield. And they're going to quick kick this one. Nope, they want to throw. Faked it out of that same formation, and it's incomplete, and they turn it over on downs. Trying to find Seth Williams. That is a formation that we've seen many times where Bo Nix will simply take the shotgun, take a step back, and kick it away. Instead, they rolled the dice, and it came up snake eyes, giving it right back to State. Welcome back. SEC Saturday Night presented by Allstate from Starkville. It's a 3-0 Auburn lead on Mississippi State. Cole, interesting scouting report that Kevin Steele was able to lean on when it came to preparing for the air raid.
There's a little extra advantage that Kevin Steele, Auburn defensive coordinator, has. Chris Hatcher, the head football coach at Samford. Now, Gordon Steele, Kevin Steele's son, actually played center in the air raid for Chris Hatcher. There's another tie on this Auburn defensive staff, Ross Newton, who was on the defensive staff at Samford while Chris Hatcher was the coach there as well. So he coached against it in practice every day. Kevin Steele obviously has a couple other guys he's been able to lean on and get some extra information this week.
Hatcher played his college ball at Valdosta State. That's where the air raid had one of its earliest starts. Dylan Johnson is able to pick it up for 3 yards on the left side. Hal Mumby, Mike Leach brought it to the SEC and Kentucky. And so one of the things that we've identified, or specifically you identified, that could be an advantage for defenses this season is if you've got a nose that's big enough, you can really do some damage on the center that a lot of times is stuck out on an island.
Boy, you get that zero nose, so head up on the center, Tom. There's so many different things that can happen, makes it very difficult. We'll hit it a little bit more after this play.
Dre Butler just off the side now working on Cole Smith. Great pickup in the pocket, and Rodgers' arm was hit as it was coming forward, and it flutters incomplete.
So one of the first things that makes it difficult in this particular offense are the 3-foot splits. Now, I think they've cut them down a little bit as the season has progressed, but you're not going to get help from the guards as quickly. Also, you're going to get a lot of rush 3, drop 8. We've seen it all season. So you get that zero nose. He's got a 3-way go. He can go to either A gap, so he can shoot left, he can shoot right, and then obviously he can bull rush, so he can run you over. And the first thing you have to do is get depth in your set. So you have to get back. Well, you can imagine 300, 310, 320-pound nose guard coming right up your nose, and you're trying to backpedal after you snap the football. A lot of bad things can happen.
Owen Papo will drop off. They don't go with a zero nose here. Rodgers pressured, and they get to him. And Auburn sack coming from Derek Hall. It's a loss of 7. Second sack of the night for the Tigers.
It's a great job by Derek Hall working upfield first with speed. Watch this work upfield and then gets back inside once he reaches the depth that he wants. Eyeing the quarterback, stepping up in the pocket. That's a great job, and it's something that Auburn has missed a lot of this year. Haven't found a guy on the outside that's been able to win with twitch, with speed. Hall's done it at times. He's probably their twitchiest up there. A great job there.
2 sacks a game for this Auburn defense. Tucker Day to punt it away. Either offense doing any damage here lately. They take down Day as they came after that. We do have a flag on the play, and the ball will trickle all the way inside the 20. 45-yard punt. It was 4th and 13. So it'd have to be a 15-yard penalty to give him a first down. Shedrick Jackson came in and took down Day.
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker. On the receiving team, number 7. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Oh, that's a huge penalty. Going to see he just runs into really the plant
number
leg.
11 was the fouling player. Number 11.
Let's see if Day had a cup on there. That was a dangerous shot he took there from Jackson.
Going to change rows in the choir if he's not careful. So fresh set of downs from Mississippi State. They couldn't get anything going with Rodgers on the previous possession, and remember, he threw an interception prior to that. Here's some shifts. Marks in the backfield. They swing it outside. Spivey taken down immediately. No gain. Tennyson in on the stop for Auburn.
That's Tennyson, who earlier had the targeting review that was ruled in his favor. He's a guy that plays with a ton of instinct, right? A guy that you love because it's hard to teach instinct. You'd rather they have that, get burned a few times, but they play full speed. You see they're getting involved behind the line of scrimmage on that one.
True freshman out of Rockledge, Florida. Kevin Steele said this is a really hard position to recruit to. Quick hitter to Wally against his zone, and he picks up a first down. Owen Papo, the stop, pick up a 13.
Yeah, that's the second time Will Rodgers has done a really good job of identifying safety rotation. Auburn's coming out with 2 high safeties. They're rolling one down. And twice now, Rodgers has thrown away from rotation to that vacancy to Wally for nice pickups.
We got a flag afterwards. Jaquarius Spivey and Roger McCreary were jawing, and probably a little bit more.
It's been a little chippy down there.
Has. Spivey trying to plead his case. Doesn't usually work.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct on number 11 of the offense. 15-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And neither team can get out of their own way tonight.
First down.
Just self-inflicted wounds. And they get him for something before that, or?
Yeah, I think so. Either that or they're doing the chicken dance and somebody took exception to it.
That's one of your personal favorites at weddings.
No doubt. I might break it out this June.
The foul occurred prior to the ready for play, so it will be 1st and 10.
Since it would be my wedding, Tom, I have full rights to kick you out if you do pull the chicken dance out, just so you know. I'm more of a fan of the worm. I'd love to see you tear up the dance floor with that. So just putting that out there.
Question. You can do the worm to just about anything. You can do it to shout. You can do it to the chicken dance. You can do it to... About midway through the 2nd quarter, we got 3 points on the board. Rodgers pump a go to the left, will come back to the right, and Auburn is there again. That's Papo with the big pop. It's a loss of 2 on Jaquavius Marks.
Again, I just really like the plan that Kevin Steele has right now, manning up on the outside, allowing his linebackers to play in space and rally to the football. They're running with the crossers on the outside and linebackers playing downhill to these short throws to the running back, which can be dangerous. As Cole alluded to, you got to tackle in space, and Auburn's doing a great job of that right now.
A little sod in the face mask for Papo, the sophomore linebacker. Rodgers going over the middle. That's complete to Wally. Pickup of 15.
Wally does a great job stepping inside of McClain there. He's got a seam route. You don't want to get walled to the sideline. That's what McClain wants to do. Does a good job of making a move and getting back inside.
Pressure up the middle. They pick it up. Sideline shot incomplete, but a flag coming. Trying to find Spivey, matched up with McCreary. Chicken Dance brought the flag a couple plays ago. Now he gets one back.
Pass interference on the defense, number 23. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. He carries an automatic first down.
By the way, follow-up to the chicken dance a moment or two ago as we look at the flag on McCreary. Is that breaking news that you're getting married this June? Did we just tell everybody about it?
Well, you got your month wrong, but it was June last year. We had to reschedule. It's going to be May this year. A little bit of contact from McCreary there. You know, usually when you two-hand shove a receiver on the outside, you might get that flag.
Folks from People Magazine just tuned in on 1st and 10. Rodgers will roll out, and he'll take it himself. He doesn't run very often and picks up 3. We got another flag. This crew getting their money's worth tonight. Lee Hedrick with the announcement.
Holding on the offense, number 58. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, first down.
Cameron Jones not happy.
I think he's agreeing with the call there, or he's nodding his head to say, I'm going to get you back. Either way, 1st and 20 here for Mississippi State.
I mean, this is a rock fight here tonight. 3-0 late in the second. Rodgers swings it out. Here's Johnson. Right back up the middle for a pickup of 9. That will leave 2nd and 11.
Let's see if Mississippi State gets into some tempo here. You got to do something to build off these positive plays. Anytime flags get going back and forth, things get emotional. You got to find your rhythm somewhere.
Saw Big T.
Remember, these
Sorry, Tom. I was going to say T.D. Moultrie in the middle of that defense taking Big Cat spot behind the nose. Not necessarily a linebacker that gets caught in space very often. Tim Vakakis didn't work on that with him in high school, that's for sure.
Name drop, 2nd and 11 now for State. Rodgers, sideline shot, end zone, incomplete. Trying to find Malik Heath, who may have pulled his hamstring. Man, oh man. You hate that for him. He's going to try to limp this one off. Oh.
Boy, and that's a big loss for Mississippi State. If it is a hammy, you hope it's a cramp. Either way, had 2 touchdowns in the Egg Bowl against Ole Miss. Was really their red zone target. Was able to climb the ladder a couple times down there for Will Rogers, go up and get balls, and Rogers gives him a chance on the outside for another one. And just hope he's okay. When we come back, we'll find out.
Junior out of Jackson, Mississippi. Malik Heath being helped into the tent.
This was a great throw by Will Rogers on the outside in one-on-one coverage with Pritchett. Going to see here, I think right there, that step just out of the end zone there.
It leaves 3rd and 11. And State down one of their key receivers. Rogers over the middle, bobbled, and it falls incomplete. Spivey, the intended receiver. Guys, we're on pace for that 2008 thriller between these two teams, in which number 9 Auburn won 3-2.
You can take
this is such a good concept. Look at this. You run 2 crossers in front of those linebackers that have been getting depth to open up that hole behind them. And tell you one thing you can't do: if you start running your mouth and talking trash, you can't drop a ball. That would be a first down or maybe a touchdown there in a 3-0 game.
Brandon Ruiz, the Arizona State transfer, on to attempt. And he drills it from deep. We've already outscored that 2008 game. 3 apiece. Well, speaking of the Magnolia State, here's a thrilling article. If you guys haven't read it yet, I invite you to go to ESPN Plus for the Wright Thompson piece titled "The Inheritance of Archie Manning." I couldn't put it down. I was flipping through this last night and went through every single word. And you don't have to be an Ole Miss fan to appreciate it. Just a college football fan or a family person. It is, I don't want to give any of it away, but it goes through the Manning family history, and it goes back to Archie's dad and the impact that his passing had on Archie's life and how he protected his other family members in many different ways from suffering through what he suffered for you. Great piece. It's on ESPN Plus right now.
What a special family. I get time every year to spend around that crew at the Manning Passing Academy every summer. Didn't have it this year for the first time in 20 some odd years, but Archie, Cooper, Peyton, Eli, first class across the board. As humans. Now, I mean, everyone knows them for football, right? Their skills and their talents, their accomplishments, they're just good people.
Ruiz will kick it away after his 41-yard field goal was good. And a line drive handled about 2 yards out by Eli Stove. Ran into a maroon wall and bounced right off of it. Stove taking it past the 40, all the way out to midfield.
There's a spark when you need it. Both of these offenses really struggling to get things going. And look at that.
Bounced off his own guy.
Yeah.
John Samuel Shanker. "47-yard return. And here's Bo Nix. He's got Tank Bigsby behind him. Nix 10 of 18 for 55 here in the first half. Bigsby 8th in the conference in all-purpose yardage. Here he is straight ahead. And he spins to pick up 4. Cole, did you expect to see more Tank Bigsby tonight?
Absolutely. We talked to this Auburn coaching staff, be it Chad Morris or Gus Malzahn, and they all emphasized it's got to be Tank Bigsby. We have to run the football. They want to try to get this defense a little bit calmed down, try to take away some of the stunts and blitzes that they're doing with that rushing attack, and they thought they could have success with it. I thought we had seen more.
They did point out, and 2nd and 6, Nick's going deep, man coverage, and Schwartz lost his footing. Falls incomplete. Kraft was back there with him.
We've been talking about those shots and the need to at least take them, right? You have to show that you can push the ball downfield. Schwartz might have had a step there. Unfortunately, gets tripped up. It's a great job by Bo Nix just staying strong right here and giving his guy a chance. He's going to make a play on that ball if he doesn't get tripped up by maybe the grass there.
Yep.
Turf monster.
Sod monster got him. The staff did point out, Chad Morris and Gus Malzahn said it will be ugly in the first half. What we only get 2 or 3 yards out of in the first half, we expect we could turn into 6 or 7 yards in the second half when discussing the running game. Nix hangs a U-turn, goes all the way back to Columbus. Pump fake, got to get rid of it. And incomplete to save him some yardage. Wow. Chased by down here.
Let's watch the pocket. Watch the pocket. Maybe left a hair early, but this is one thing Bo Nix can do. He can make something out of nothing. That time just had to retreat a little bit too far to get anything going.
Chapman on to punt it away. It'll be the 3rd consecutive Auburn possession into state territory in which they come away with no points. Carries into the end zone. Auburn 3, Mississippi State 3. Back to Starkville after this.
Regions halftime report coming up in a moment. Doring, Harper, LSU, Florida. Shocker right now at the half at the Swamp. We'll update. Alabama cruises. So does Georgia. Guys, first half here. Score, but operator falling asleep.
Not sure if it's good defense or bad offense, Roman. It's definitely bad offense right now for Florida.
For the record, guys, Doring is sweating right now.
I thought you were going to say Doring was doing the worm, which would be just as impressive. 1st and 10 now for State. We got a 3-3 game, as crazy as the one in the Swamp is. Well, where Florida has turned it over 3 times in the first half. Rodgers heaves it down the sideline into coverage again, and it was incomplete, trying to find Cameron Gardner. McCreary already has a pick. He was in on the coverage.
End to half situations. Not really a 2-minute drill, but you got to get a positive play. Look for a quick throw here.
Got Wally in the slot, Marks in the backfield with him. Jacovius Marks, no gain. State 1 of 6 on 3rd down tonight.
Yeah, this is not where you want to be. Auburn's done a really good job on 3rd down of playing off, giving a little bit of space, and just rallying to those short throws underneath.
By the way, the 2 teams tonight have combined to go 2 for 13 on 3rd down.
It's not great.
Not good.
Timeout. Mississippi State. This is our first charge timeout of the half.
Down the ugly tree and hit every branch.
Timeout.
Jordan, can you promise me this game will improve after the half?
I don't know. You know, I'll try to get in there and have a conversation with these guys, you know, open it up a little bit more. You know, I don't know if I can hop on a plane and get there in time, but.
All right, well, let's spice it up with some season's greetings. Here's our advent calendar. Conference Championship weekend In 7 days, selection show on December 20th. January 1st, the CFP semis, the Rose and the Sugar. The Heisman will be handed out January 5th. We'll do that virtually, and the national title coming your way on January 11th.
A little advent calendar. Yeah, whoever came up with that idea there needs to get a raise.
Agreed. Christmas sweater, a turkey hat. Pretty good day.
Flamingo, not sure how that plays in, but I don't hate it.
Those are the best shots of the first half. 4-man rush on 3rd and 10. Guys are falling all over the place. Rodgers lobs it and caught by KJ Costello.
You talk about
in the game.
You talk about some of the 3rd down misery, though. Gus Malzahn has to be excited about this. He emphasized to us multiple times about the defense getting off the field. This Auburn defense had allowed over 60% conversions on 3rd down in each of the last 3 games. So good news for Kevin Steele's defense, even though obviously not generating a ton of offensive excitement for us here tonight.
Great visit with Kevin Steele via Zoom. Always fun to talk with the Auburn defensive coordinator. Stove takes a fair catch up around the 43. It's a 36-yard punt. All right, let's talk about your all's playoff picks. What do you got?
Not much has changed for me. I still look. It's going to sort itself out. I still got Ohio State behind A&M and Florida because of the resume. They don't have a good resume. They're going to have a chance to improve that in a championship game. And Florida struggling with LSU, but it's going to come down to the wire in these championship games.
You know, I felt pretty good about A&M's performance against Auburn last week. The Maroon Goons were absolutely dominant up front.
You got Clemson behind A&M.
I did not like what I saw from the Clemson offensive line or Trevor Lawrence against Virginia Tech last week. He threw 1 pick. He could have threw more picks. And I didn't think it was a very clean performance by the Tigers. I'm big on moving them each and every week. I don't think you just leave them the same.
Here's Bigsby. He's moving them inside the 30. And the freshman rips off a monster gain on a pickup of 33.
I mean, this is why he is so dangerous. Watch this cut. Watch him put his left foot in the ground. Whoop! See ya. I mean, he's so physical going downhill that you don't want to get in his way, and he can put his foot in the ground like that and get vertical just as quickly. He's going to be a guy to watch down the road. I mean, he's a true freshman, already one of the most talented. He's going to be the best running back in the SEC next year. It's not even close.
Tried to do it a couple of times, ends up fighting for just 1 yard. Sean Preston Jr. the stop. Did we get a Berman-esque sound effect from you on that replay? Is that what we got?
You know, I tried. I'm not Cole. I'm no Cole Kubelik when it comes to the sound effects. We saw plenty of those last week from him. I'll mix it up a little bit. A little bit of whoop. It's not bad, right?
Anything to bring life to this game. Bigsby's been battling back from a couple of injuries. Missed some time with a hip injury. Was labeled good to go to start this game by Gus Malzahn. Second among freshmen in the FBS in rush yards. Turns the corner here and traded hits with London Kraft. Pickup of about 8 that time.
This is what Auburn needs, right? Just start to feed him. You know, the more he gets warmed up, the more he gets going downhill, the better he becomes.
I talked to Kendall Simmons, former Auburn offensive lineman who helps with this group now, about staying a little bit more flat in your zone schemes, waiting a little bit more. We saw Ole Miss do a great job of it against this Mississippi State defense a week ago. Let things develop in front of you, then get north and south.
DJ Williams now in at tailback for Auburn. Pegues motions. Nick's going to flip it outside to Stove. High steps his way to the 5 and a flag in on the play.
You mentioned J.J. Pegues getting in there. I remember asking Zach Arnett, defensive coordinator for Mississippi State, about him, like, who do you line up at him for scout team? How do you replicate that size and athleticism? He said, we don't. You can't.
You can't.
No, and he's like, and also, I don't want to put anybody there because I don't want my guys getting hurt. That guy blows people up.
On the offense, number 18. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay, first down.
Blows people up in the run game. He's like, I didn't want to show him some of the highlight blocks that J.J. Pegues has. And here you're going to see on the outside, Seth Williams. Oh, it's just that last little movement. He did a really good job at initial contact.
Each team has drawn more penalties than they've scored points tonight. 6 flags on Auburn, 4 flags on State. Bigsby tried to change direction in the backfield, gets just 1. Forbes in there to make him change direction, and Errol Thompson drawn with him.
Really like to see a quick throw here. Not a screen to the outside as we see sometimes from Auburn, but get Bo Nix in rhythm, right? Give him a slant, give him a high-low combination, something that's easy, something in front of him. Get him back in rhythm.
That holding penalty was killer. Now 2nd and 18. Through the hands of Schwartz.
See, and that's actually exactly what I was talking about. An easy throw. Get your quarterback outside the pocket. A quick throw where he's comfortable. Just a hair too far outside, it looked like, for Schwartz. Designed run here. Oh. I mean, I'm a former quarterback, so I'll say that's one you'd like to see Schwartz come down with, but it was just a little outside the framework of his body. Still hit his hands, though. Now 3rd and 18. Maybe a screen, maybe a draw.
Shivers is the 3rd down back.
Maybe a timeout to think about it.
Taken by Auburn.
Auburn. This is their first charge timeout of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
Well, what kind of 18-yard plays we got in here, fellas? I mean, part of this is, are we happy with a field goal? Will we take 8 yards here and throw Carlson out there and knock one through? Or do we think that we need to try and find a touchdown before the half comes to an end? How do you view it?
I think right now you're okay with a field goal. I think you're pretty comfortable with how your defense has been performing. The plan you have right now, the adjustments you've made for Mississippi State, mixing up the man in zone. So a field goal is okay. But again, I think you find something quick on the perimeter, a screen, try to get blockers out in front, see if you can't make somebody miss and pick up 18, 19, or at least, like you said, get yourself in a little more comfortable field goal situation, even though Carlson's pretty good from anywhere inside 55.
Yeah, his long is 50. He's hit 15 of 17 this season. The Carlson era continues at Auburn. The brothers, the 3rd most high-scoring brothers in college football history, behind the Aguayo brothers from Florida State and the Browns at Nebraska. On 3rd and 18. Quick screen blown up. They try to get it to Schwartz, and Forbes was all over it.
And that's the thing. If I'm calling out that maybe that's what they should do, I'm sure Mississippi State was thinking that as well. A quick screen, try to get Lyman out in front of Schwartz, but it's a really good job on the outside, blowing that one up before it even started by Forbes out there.
And so Carlson will come out for a 37-yard attempt, roughly. Auburn will have to stop the clock here in a moment. They've got 2 timeouts to do so. And Gus will let it wind down to 4.
Timeout, Auburn.
It'll be State's ball to start the second half once we get there. Well, tonight we got the SEC football final. Dari, Doring, and Harper will be by. They'll take you through the biggest stories for the day, break all the games down. That's 10:30 Eastern, or right after this game, whatever happens first. And they'll be talking a lot about what's going on in Gainesville tonight, with LSU giving Florida all they can handle. Slow start for Georgia on the road today against Missouri. That was a tight one at the half. Bulldogs blew it open in the second half, and a very comfortable win for Bama in Fayetteville. That Florida game getting ready to start the second half. LSU's got a 24-17 lead. So here's Carlson, 7th in school history in points scored and PATs, 4th with 48 field goals in his career. He's already made one from 27 tonight. 37-yard attempt. And it leaks right. It is good. Just inside the right upright, and Auburn's got a couple of three-pointers from Anders Carlson, and they have a 6-3 lead at the half. Mississippi State will get the ball to start the second half. Lots to talk about in the studio. Let's take you back to Dari in the game. SEC Saturday Night is presented by Allstate from Davis Wade Stadium in Starkville, Mississippi. It's Auburn 6, Mississippi State 3. Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers, Cole Kublik. The Bulldogs ready to come back on the field, try to find some offense and clean this one up. More penalties and points combined in the first half between the Bulldogs and the Tigers. Let's take a look at Zaxby's first half stats. Jordan Rogers, what jumps out at you?
Oh, it's a little bit like a baseball game, huh? I mean, here's the thing. Auburn got going on the ground towards the end of the half, and you got to get more of that, more Tank Bigsby in this second half to set up the passing game, and really did a great job containing this air raid offense, really starting from the middle of the first quarter on.
Gus Malzahn's team, hashtag I don't know what else we're talking about, but yeah, make sure that your lips are properly moisturized. There are the other two guys. Kind of all have to social distance, yet you don't want to get too far away. Griffin and Witherspoon back to receive this kick from Carlston, who's responsible for the points in the first half for Auburn. No return. Let's go down to the field and check in with Cole.
Hey, Tom, I spoke to Coach Lees coming out of halftime. I said, how much does it just drive you crazy when it's going this way? When it's slow, you get a lot of explosives. He said, yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I don't like it very much. Asked him, how can they get more explosive? He said they have to protect better. He said he does think some things have been there that they've missed in this half, but he credited both defenses for playing well.
Jordan, did both defenses play well, or is it just that the offenses are so rusty, for lack of a better term, tonight?
That's a little bit of both. I will say I think both teams got pressure on the quarterback, respectively. Both were able to force the quarterback at times on purpose out of the pocket to force errant throws like we saw Will Rogers do with the interception. A couple throwaways from Bo Nix. So that was probably the best aspect of both defenses.
State will run it on first down, and Dylan Johnson is able to rip off a nice carry brought down by Zacoby McClain. Pick up a 5. Another stop for McClain. He picked up a great nickname from defensive coordinator Kevin Steele. He calls him Ricochet Rabbit, an old cartoon character. We asked Zacoby if he was familiar with it when he first saw it, if he agreed. He goes, yeah, man, that rabbit's bouncing all over the place, just like me, ready to make tackles and coming off of 17 against A&M. Across the middle is Jaden Wally, and he's stopped by Smoke Monday. We'll see if that's enough for the first down. It'll be right on the line.
And good to see Wally back out there. Got banged up by a little friendly fire on a run play in the first half. Was out for a few plays before halftime, so he looks healthy, and that's Will Rogers' #1 target. Gonna need to find him consistently to get things going here in the second half.
Two-back set again with Marks and Johnson. Rogers steps up out of the pocket, sneaks his way out of one tackle, and goes down before McClain can get another stop. It's a 8-yard scramble on first down.
You know, in the Egg Bowl, he did that a couple times as well. He's not a dual threat guy. He's mobile enough, but he's not going to hurt you with his legs. But plays like that, stepping up and through the pocket, are crucial against a team like Auburn that's going to play a lot of man coverage on the outside at times.
Freshman out of Brandon High School, directed the air raid in high school. Here's Wally. Counterpart in the freshman class takes it for 16. Pritchett the stop, and Mississippi State trying to get it going.
Really the only play that they've had tonight. Really just a slot hitch from Wally. Again, I mentioned that Will Rogers throwing opposite of that safety rotation at times. Safety rotates one way, throw that little slot hitch in the opposite direction. They've hit that 3 times already tonight for probably their most successful pass plays.
You saw Spivey come in at the end. Kevin Steele worried about rub routes and how they'll affect his defense. Here's Marks, and he rips off a big run. Papo finally brings him down. It's a gain of 12 and a first down for State.
This is where they get really dangerous, right? When they can keep you off balance. And as they get towards the red zone here, that's one thing I'm going to be watching. How much do they run the football down inside the 20-yard line when and if they get there? Haven't converted enough touchdowns in that area this far.
Looking
so
for
far
a
this year
to Austin Williams, and they get nothing out of it. Monday, another stop for Auburn.
Had a good conversation with Austin Williams, sorry Cole, just about how the learning curve is in the air raid, right? I mean, at its core, it's simple. There's not a ton of different route concept, but it's so complex post-snap. The amount of adjustments these receivers are doing on the fly based on leverage, based on coverage. That's where the learning curve is, and this receiving group really just starting to hit their stride with that.
Rogers stands tall again, crossing route complete, and that'll get him 3 yards. To Griffin, another freshman. He's out of Philadelphia, Mississippi. This will be the 8th play of the drive for Mississippi State.
Let's see if Auburn decides to bring pressure here. We've seen them get after Will Rogers a couple times on 3rd down by stacking that line of scrimmage. You see Papo here. It looks like they are going to bring pressure.
Yeah, they bring the house. Rogers gets rid of it quickly. That's complete to Spivey, who's taken down after only 4, and he was a shoestring away from breaking out and picking up a first down.
And I think I mentioned it earlier in the game. This is a double-edged sword, right? You bring pressure. If you break a tackle or you blow a coverage, it could be a big play, but great coverage there. And Mississippi State going to roll the dice on 4th down.
4th and 3, and a check to the sideline for Rogers. $11 of 16 on 4th down this season.
Timeout, Mississippi State. This is their first charge timeout of the half.
Big Cat, Cameron Jones bowing to each other. We got a timeout. Auburn 6, Mississippi State 3. Brandon Ruiz will come on for a field goal attempt for Mississippi State. It'll be the 9th play of this second half opening drive. Auburn's defense came up big when they needed to. A 39-yard attempt. Ruiz has already made from 41. And that's going to drift left. No good. Only the 2nd miss of the season for the transfer from Arizona State, who said he wanted to come to Mississippi State to play in the SEC and do it in big moments. Just missed. Updating the high-scoring affair in Gainesville. Here's Dari.
Yeah, guys, LSU kicked a field goal to go up 10 in the 3rd, and then it took Florida just 4 plays to go 75 yards, culminating with a Kyle Trask touchdown lunge. It's a 3-point game. LSU still leads just past halfway in the 3rd quarter.
Fantastic word, culminating. By the way, I got some great stats from Dari that he spit out in the pregame show. Last 5 games, Mississippi State 19 turnovers. Pardon me, first 5 games. Last 3, only 1. Bigsby stopped at the line of scrimmage. I would call it a 2-yard gain. That missed field goal kind of felt like a turnover, didn't it? A missed opportunity at the half to tie the game.
It really did, and now Auburn's got to capitalize. And Seth Williams, over the last 4+ quarters of football, has 1 reception and 0 receiving yards. Got to find a way to get him involved, and not just on screen plays. Got to find a way to get a matchup and get plays down the field for Seth Williams. Running the football with Tank is extremely important. They got to get your next best playmaker the football and involved. It's been too long.
Nix hands it off. Bigsby tries to push, finds 2 more. And now 3rd and 6. All right, this is for both of you. Cole, you go first. What's Auburn's best 3rd and 6 play?
It depends on the covers, but if you get Seth Williams in a one-on-one, then I would say you got to get it to him.
And Auburn has done a good job of creating those matchups, but not capitalizing on them. Sometimes they go 3-by-1 with Williams to one side, force the defense to decide if you're going to double him or man him up. And that's what they do. You're going to see Seth Williams at the bottom of your screen of a 3-by-1. He's going to have a corner outside leverage. I bet they have him on a crossing route towards the middle of the field. That's where I try to go with the football.
It's Emerson in front of him. The safety Kraft is also that way. Looking for Williams on the crossing route. Didn't get it to him. Over the middle, incomplete. Tried to go big to Shedrick Jackson, and Sean Preston was there.
And he had Seth Williams on a crossing route. I mean, sometimes, yes, you're cognizant of where the first down marker is. It's 4th and 6, or excuse me, 3rd and 6. But get it to your best player here. Watch him at the bottom of your screen. This is an under route, a drive route. Throw it to him now. Right, if you throw it to him now, he's got a chance to knife upfield, make a move, break a tackle, or at least fall forward to pick up that first down. It's where the play was designed to go. Surprised Nix didn't pull the trigger there.
Chapman punts it away. Austin Williams takes a fair catch. Auburn 6, Mississippi State 3. Let's take a look at the road to the championship. Brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Championship game is set. LSU trying to play spoiler tonight and send Florida to Atlanta with its 2nd loss. Tigers lead the Gators 27-24, under 4 to go in the 3rd quarter. 9 previous meetings in the championship game. Alabama's won 5 of them. They last met in 2016, and the winner of that game has won the national championship 5 of the previous 9 times.
Also might be a semifinal playoff for the Heisman, right? Mac Jones, Kyle Trask. But with how Jones performed today and how Trask is struggling against LSU, Devontae Smith might get his name in that conversation with the numbers he's been putting up in a punt return touchdown today.
Mac Jones, 24-29 for 208. Didn't throw a touchdown, but also didn't throw a pick at Bama's big win against Arkansas. There's Dylan Johnson out of the backfield, brought down by Owen Papo. I really got the feeling that State's offense found its groove on that first drive of the second half, even though it ended in a missed field goal.
Yeah, they did. It found Jaden Walley a couple times. Also had a big run that spit for 8, 9, 10 yards or something like that. They need to continue to find ways to get the ball out of Will Rogers' hands quickly, because Auburn has found a way to get pressure on him.
Dylan Johnson again.
Yeah, it's the 2nd time they've gone gap scheme run here in the second half. Kind of a little pin and pull, inserting more inside than they did on the previous drive, but didn't see that in the first half for the Bulldogs.
3rd down 3 now for State. If State picks up the first down, I want to go back to that comment, Cole, in just a minute. Rogers over the middle. There's the first down. Explain for us simpletons pin and pull.
You'll have one offensive lineman that'll block back, and the defender that he takes over, essentially that's going to be a position block. The offensive lineman that was in front of that defender is going to pull around that offensive lineman that's blocking back, creating a gap, because obviously you have that one position block from the guy who's pinning and the other offensive lineman pulling around.
Rogers. Incomplete. 2 receivers in the same spot. Osiris Mitchell, the nearest one. Jaden Walley was there too. Talked a lot about the air raid and how these routes become option routes.
On the offense, number 58, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, first down.
Holding on Cameron Jones. And Jordan, when you're running option routes as wide receivers and you have choices to make, reps could be the most valuable thing for this offense in this program going forward.
Absolutely, and that's why when you talk to Mike Leach anytime, he's like, look, our offense is about reps and execution. You got to rep something, not until you get it right, but until you can't do it wrong. And then you got to execute at a high level. And really, execution, when you're talking about receivers adjusting routes, is predicated on timing. You got to do it early so you give your quarterback information there. A late adjustment possibly on the outside and miscommunication between quarterback and Mitchell.
Rodgers going deep. One-on-one coverage and off of the hands of Osiris Mitchell. Nehemiah Pritchett will raise his hand, but that was there for the taking for Mitchell.
Yeah, and you might say this is a bad ball. It's an underthrow. Yes, it is an underthrow, but when you got a receiver out there that's 6'5", you just want to give him a chance. And I think as he's stopping, him and Pritchett get caught up a little bit, and he's not able to locate the football and pull that one in. That's a big missed opportunity. You'd expect Mitchell to pull that one down for Rodgers.
Dylan Johnson in the game. Florida's taken a 31-27 lead on LSU about 3 minutes to go in the third quarter in Gainesville. Rodgers crossing routes all over the place. He's able to dump it outside to Griffin. Let's get an update on that game. Here's Dari.
Yeah, guys, you were talking about it. Florida was down 10, then they score a quick touchdown, and then less than 4 minutes later, another touchdown. Kadarius Toney takes it in from Kyle Trask. Gators now with a 4-point lead late third.
Kadarius Toney, big night for Florida. Big smile before the game when he came out of the tunnel for his head coach Dan Mullen on senior night. Third down 12.
I'd bring pressure here again if I was Auburn.
They bring it, but it came a little late once again. Miscommunication, and it's picked off by Auburn. It's Smoke Monday. And Quavarius Monday will take it into state territory. He dances his way down to the 38-yard line. Two receivers in the same spot. Obviously a miscommunication for state, and Monday took advantage.
And it's a great call by Kevin Steele. You provide pressure. You bring pressure on Will Rogers. It speeds up his clock. He's not able to get the football off quickly, and he just puts too much air on this one. And Monday playing center field there, that's the easiest interception he will ever get. You got a young quarterback, make him think quickly, and he just never sees the safety in two Mississippi State players in the same area. Doesn't help either.
Second pick of the season for Monday. He has 131 return yards on those two picks. Of course, he took one the distance against Tennessee to turn that game around. 31 yards that time. Bo Nix steps up in the pocket, decides to take off. Looking for a block from Bigsby. Got it. And he's able to scramble for 9.
And this is something that Chad Morris, Gus Malzahn, everybody harped on, right? Stepping up in the pocket instead of trying to escape around the outside, right? Step up and use your athleticism. It's a great job by Bo Nix there to evade that defender in the middle and use his legs to make a bad play or a covered play into a positive play.
4 receivers to the left.
So many more good things happen when you run through the line of scrimmage than retreat and run laterally.
Nix launches end zone, incomplete, trying to find Schwartz. Kraft had him covered. We do have a flag. Might be an ineligible receiver downfield.
There's no foul on the play for an eligible player downfield.
Or it might not.
Auburn comes out in a unique formation, so almost fooled the ref there with that one. I'm just wondering why in this area of the field that route is not run by Seth Williams, right? A jump ball, it's not, you're not going to bomb that one 50 yards. You're on the 30-yard line.
We've talked to defenders in the SEC, defensive backs, and multiples have said Seth Williams the toughest guy to cover in this league. Here's Tank Bigsby, needs 2. He'll get 2. And an Auburn first down.
And I'd run that 3 more times. I mean, we saw them last time on the other side of the field when they got down in this area of the field. Tank Bigsby had a couple big runs to get them down inside the 10 before a penalty knocked them back out of it.
I'd run it 33 more times.
Yeah. It's been their most consistent play and their best player. Keep feeding them.
Nix keeps it. On an RPO, fires behind Williams and incomplete. Flag on the play. This time it is ineligible downfield. Called a balancing act for an offensive lineman or receiver in that regard on RPOs and zone reads and whether the ball's being run or thrown.
Ineligible player downfield on the offense number 55. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. He played first down.
It's like Coffey, the right tackle. It must be a difficult dance to decide when to get downfield.
It is, and you can work it, Tom. In practice, you understand what an RPO is. But sometimes, as Jordan can tell you, quarterback's just going to make his own decision. He has different reads. So there will be plays that are called a run that turn into a pass. And that's not going to be on the offensive lineman when that happens.
Bigsby trying to outrun Jones. He does, but he's tracked down by Brule. Gain of 1.
And that's one of those plays that Cole mentioned earlier in the game where they're trying to get flat on their zone plays, right, to create bigger cutback lanes. But Mississippi State did a good job of just washing that one out, not allowing any big cutback lanes and forcing Bigsby to the sideline.
Passing down at 2nd and 14 with Shivers in. Incomplete. Emerson in coverage.
And that's the 8th target for Seth Williams with just the 1 reception. Just haven't been able to consistently find a way to get him open. It's good coverage here. Tried to pump a fake bubble screen and hit Seth Williams down the seam. And now 3rd and 14. This is an area where Auburn likes to throw those bubble screens. Do they do that, or they try to pump and go or get something off that? I'd like them to try to take a shot downfield here.
Nix has completed just 1 of his last 8 attempts. Over the middle. There's your shot. Incomplete. Stove, the intended receiver. He had 2 defenders on him, including Sean Preston. Auburn is now 2 for 11 on 3rd down tonight.
Yeah, it's really good coverage right there. I mean, they're trying to run a 2-man game with a guy down the middle and a dig route behind it, and just neither option were there, and Nix was forced to throw it into tight coverage.
45-yard attempt for Anders Carlson. He's made from 27 and 37 tonight. Good. And Carlson is a perfect 3 for 3 from deep. Auburn 9, Mississippi State 3.
Academy Sports and Outdoors is making it even easier on you with in-store pickup. It's all new and basically means you go to academy.com, order whatever you need, and come get it in store. Get in, get out, get back to having fun with your family.
Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers, Cole Kubelik. Cole, what have you seen from Bo Nix on the sideline tonight?
It's been really interesting to watch, Tom. He's been by himself a lot. The majority of the time that I've watched him come off the field, there's one chair next to him. Sometimes Chad Morris will be next to him. Sometimes his helmet will be there. There's not a lot of going and interacting with your teammates. Every team has a different process, has a different blueprint of where everybody is on the sideline. The majority of the leadership on the sideline has actually come from Tank Bigsby, a true freshman. He seems to be the guy that's tapping everybody and trying to get everybody motivated when they come off the field.
Bo Nix's night has been less than perfect, 11 of 26 for 55 yards, and an offense that has relied on only field goals tonight.
That's Been a little bit of what we've seen all year, right? Leaving the pocket when we don't have to, but also there's been a ton of pressure on Bo Nix, so it's been a little bit of both. And when they have tried to take shots downfield, one time Anthony Schwartz right here trips. I think that's a good ball that could be a big gain. And other times, it's just been good coverage. So give Mississippi State a lot of credit. And Zach Arnett, he's had a good plan for trying to contain Bo Nix. He's got a good plan mixing up coverage on the back end as well.
So we've seen Bo Nix sitting by himself for a good chunk of tonight on the sideline, Jordan. Is that something or is that nothing?
I don't know. It really depends. Some guys all operate a little different. You like what you see right there, sitting down with his offensive coordinator, Chad Morris, to probably talk through, you know, when you're struggling as a quarterback, best thing sometimes I do is sit down with my coach and say, hey, here's what I really like. Give me these 2 plays next drive. And sometimes it's day 1 install. It's not creative stuff that we just came up with this week or last week. It's something that you've done since day 1 that you know inside and out. Everybody's confident in. So right now, I bet Chad Morris is writing down 2 pass concepts that Bo Nix feels good with, and they're going to run them next drive.
5-yard gain on the completion to Jaquarius Spivey. Rodgers on 2nd and 5, fits one in, and this is Wally. He's got room to run. He gets blasted to the backside, but it comes after a gain of 27.
Again, I mentioned Kevin Steele on defense. He's manning up the outside receivers and playing zone on the inside. And so Jaden Wally has found this soft spot over the slot now 4 times. I mean, it's almost all their passing yards have come on that one concept, finding the soft spot in between those linebackers that are in zone while the receivers on the outside are manned up.
Rodgers going deep this time. Open, incomplete. Griffin, the intended receiver. It bears some mind what Kevin Steele told us yesterday. He said they run those routes in front of the linebackers, and before you know it, you're chasing $10 in front of you when there's $100 behind you.
And a big missed opportunity here for Will Rogers. This is a great job, right? Looking off the safety, gets him to move, and there's nobody over there. Oh, that's one where we saw him underthrow with Cyrus Mitchell, which I didn't mind, right? Always give your guy an opportunity. You can't miss these type of throws long. It's so hard, but that's one he's going to want to have back on a night that they've struggled. They needed it.
It's Williams in motion, 2nd and 10. Over the middle again, incomplete. Great job on the back end to break that one up. Zion Puckett, freshman from Griffin, Georgia, out of Spalding High School. LSU just scored a touchdown to go back ahead. They're playing in the fog. Here, both offenses are in a fog. 3rd and 10 now for State.
And you got to think, if you're Will Rogers, you're going to find number 31, who's going to be in the slot at the top of your screen, right on the hash mark there. And he's going to be manned up with Puckett, a safety. That's a matchup Mississippi State should attack.
Pressure, and he goes down. Auburn with its 3rd sack of the night, and a little dance for Colby Wooden. It's a loss of 8.
Boy, and they had Jaden Wally with a double move in the slot, but just didn't have enough time. And it's only 4. We've seen Auburn bring pressure on 3rd down. That time, Colby Wooden just beat his man. You're going to see Wally in the slot. Little double move there. Maybe not even a double move, just flat out beat Puckett. That's where they wanted to go with the football, but didn't have time.
Fair catch asked for inside the 10. 43-yard punt by Tucker Day. Told you about Gainesville. Let's take you there. Here's Dari.
Guys, it has been wild in the swamp. LSU comes right back with the benefit of a pass interference call. A drive stays alive. Trey Bradford from Max Johnson. Bradford's first career touchdown. LSU up by 3 early in the 4th.
Fascinating. And you take a look at the college football playoff rankings. If LSU pulls this off, not only does it put Alabama in the brink in the SEC championship game, arguably, but A&M would lose points for what is their most impressive win of the season. Straight ahead run, maybe a yard. Tank Bigsby.
And that's what I was worried about for this Florida team. You know, last 3 weeks they've played down to their opponents. Right, it was a tie ball game where they were trailing in both the Vanderbilt and Kentucky game before halftime, before pulling away. They didn't really pull away against Tennessee last week. They're playing down to LSU. They're a better team than LSU, but LSU's dangerous because of the talent they have, and they're giving them everything they got.
LSU going in a few men down in that one as well. 2nd down 9. 5-man rush. Nix fires a bullet, and Errol Thompson will string up John Samuel Schenker. This is 7th catch of the season. It goes for 6. Pardon me, that's Frazier.
Yeah, Frazier's a guy I'd love to see more involved in this offense. I think they're just starting to feel out. He's only been back a couple weeks, or healthy for a few weeks now. He's a 6'7", 270-pound target, former 4-star. He's got a ton of talent. They're just starting to feel out where he fits within this scheme outside the red zone. That's an obvious one, obviously.
Nix will roll left. Sidearms one down the sideline. Incomplete, trying to find Williams. And the punt team will return. Seth Williams has been targeted 9 times in this game. He has 1 catch for 0 yards.
49 days since Seth Williams has scored a touchdown, Tom.
What was that?
49 days since Seth Williams has scored a touchdown.
Chapman on to punt. Austin Williams back for State. They'll return. We're talking about Florida, that LSU game. LSU up by 3 in the 4th quarter. Best chance to reach the playoff. It's our all-state playoff predictor. Assuming Bama, Clemson, Ohio State, and Cincinnati all win their conference titles, the path is there for A&M to get in the college football playoff, according to the all-state playoff predictor.
And at that point, it kind of just becomes a beauty pageant, right? How did they look in the game? Was it a close game with Notre Dame and Clemson? Was A&M, did they blow out? You know, it's just, it becomes kind of who looked better, I guess, which in a loss or a win, right? So it's the eye test, right? In a weird year, the committee is depending on their eye test for good or bad. That's what it is.
Best starting field position of the night for Mississippi State. Griffin on the screen, picks up 5. And you would figure that formula includes a Florida win against LSU. CFP semifinals, New Year's Day, Rose Bowl 5 Eastern, All-State Sugar Bowl to follow from New Orleans at 8:45. Quick hitter incomplete. Trying to find Griffin on the slant. Coverage by McCreary.
Last 3rd down, Will Rogers was looking in Jaden Wally's direction. That last play, they doubled Wally with a man defender on him and a linebacker inside of him.
Crossing routes. Quarterback will take off, and he is stuck. Big play by Tennyson. No gain for Rogers. 4th and 5 remaining.
I think you got to go for it here.
Ball on the Auburn 43-yard line. They'll have a quarter break to think about it.
Yeah, too long of a field goal. Field goals aren't going to win you this football game.
Yet field goals are all we've seen at this point. It's a race to the first touchdown. Just about a minute ago, the punt team was on the field, and Mike Leach said, Will, grab your helmet. Let's get out there. And so the offense stays on the field on a 4th and 5. Here we go. Or do they? Mass substitution. They'll run the punter back on. Reed Bowman to punt. Eli Stove now to return. Wow. Stop by State inside the 5. What a play by Jaden Wally. 39-yard punt. And whether or not the late shift played a role in it, Mississippi State comes up with a huge play.
Yeah, I think that design was to try to get Auburn to jump off sides with all the movement quickly there to sub in and out. But either way,
Ball be placed in the spot of illegal touching. First down.
They had illegal touching. It's a first down. Here's Dari.
All right, it's time for a comeback moment, supplemented by Aflac. Thank you, Aflac it is. You know, 2 weeks ago, Sarah Fuller for Vanderbilt made history. First woman to play in a Power 5 game. She came back to make a little more history on this day, becoming the first woman to score in a Power 5 game. Big congrats to her, guys.
All right, Dari, indeed, history made once again with the Vanderbilt football program. Bigsby falls forward. No gain. Stopped right at the line of scrimmage by his own momentum. Errol Thompson is there. If field position ends up playing a role late in the game, it's going to be that big stop by Wally downing the punt inside the 5. Nix from the end zone. Change at the line. Bigsby picks up 3. Jordan, remember the big run by Tank Bigsby? I think it was 33 yards where he put his foot in the ground and cut. Since then, he's been making cuts behind the line of scrimmage almost every time he carries the ball, and he hasn't had a big play since.
Yeah, Mississippi State up front doing a great job of not allowing the double teams to get any movement. They're just not getting any push up front, so the holes are not there. Bigsby can't get ahead of steam going downhill. And this 3rd and 7, 3rd and long is not where this Auburn team wants to be.
Whistles before the snap.
Timeout, Auburn. First charge timeout of the half.
Auburn uses the timeout. They'll be looking at a 3rd and 7 after this. This season, for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, Allstate will make a contribution to the university's general scholarship fund. Thank you, Allstate.
And Cole just mentioned down there in the break that a lot of conversation between Bo Nix and Seth Williams. We'll see if they go in his direction. He's at the top of his screen. Top of your screen with a safety playing over the top, though.
Pressure coming up the middle. Nix, deep drop. A laser complete for a first down. It's Seth Williams. And Auburn will move the chains.
That's a great job here. It looked like it was cover 2 to that side of the field. Flat defender underneath with a deep safety for that half of the field. How do you beat that? You release inside and you break outside to the corner. Little high-low. See that underneath route holds the corner, opens up that window for Seth Williams, and Bo Nix with a great ball.
There's a gain of 25. Bigsby gets a great block on the edge. He's got the sideline, and he's finally forced out at the 40. Brandon Frazier was the one who cleared the way for a gain of 27.
That's exactly what Auburn is needed. I mentioned Frazier and trying to find his place in the pass game, but he's 270 pounds. Long arms. He can block as well. And when Auburn needed it, Tank Bigsby with a huge run to flip field position.
Bigsby straight ahead. Pickup of 2.
Oh, yeah, it's a great job by Frazier out there sealing off the defensive end. The linebacker, Tyrus Wheat there.
That burst to the outside is where Bigsby is just really different. You saw in the Alabama game, had a chance to bounce a few out there. Wasn't the same. Hip seems to be closer to 100%. That burst can break a defense down.
He comes off the field on 2nd and 8. Auburn can take control with a touchdown on this drive. 3-man rush. Out to Luke Deal, and the tight end will leap forward, and they mark him just short. I thought the ball was at the marker. We'll call it a gain of 7 and leave 3rd and short. Bigsby back on the field on 3rd and 1.
No-brainer, right? Give it to number 4. Probably have Bo Nix with the option to pull on his own read, but I just give this to number 4.
Pressure coming. Bigsby's got it, and he will fight forward for the Auburn first down. And now it's Auburn with the momentum and State needing stop. Shivers in at tailback. Submarines his way for a gain of 1.
Let's see if this is where Zach Arnett, the defensive coordinator for Mississippi State, decides to dial up a little more pressure, kind of force the hand of Auburn. We mentioned earlier he was talking about teams that on offense do shifts and motions and misdirection. He's like, yeah, we do that too. We want to confuse the offense as well. We're going to do a whole bunch of different things up front with a 4, and he's not afraid to bring pressure as well as he motions to his defenders. Let's see if they dial it up.
This drive started at the 5-yard line. Nix now going for the end zone. Incomplete. Overthrew Anthony Schwartz. Forbes with the coverage.
Can't fault him for trying. I mean, that's what, the 4th time I think we've seen Bo Nix target Anthony Schwartz deep from that slot position. And look at the defender, Forbes. I mean, he started running before Schwartz did. You got to respect a guy with that kind of speed, but good job in coverage and not enough room there to execute it.
3rd down 9. Went to Williams to start this drive in a similar situation.
And State showed pressure there. Let's see if they keep it on. Auburn adjusts. State's going to bring pressure.
A whistle before the snap. We got movement on Seth Williams. He was anxious to get out there.
On the offense, number 18. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
I tell you guys,
Martin Emerson not shy.
watch 52 from Mississippi State here. If he's close to down, kind of in a 4-point stance, if that right hand's dragging on the ground, he's humming north and south. If he's in kind of a true 3-point, 2-point stance, a lot of times he's going east and west, some sort of a game.
Deep ball. Caught! Williams! Touchdown, Auburn! He'll do the talking on Emerson now. It's a 32-yard scoring strike.
Oh, and how overdue is that for Auburn fans and for Bo Nix and Seth Williams? That's a connection that we've been waiting for, and a little trash talk like you mentioned there, Tom, between Emerson and Seth Williams, and he just wins at the line of scrimmage. And Bo Nix does a great job of throwing this ball with air. I think at times this year he has a tendency to throw that as a line drive. That time he gave Seth Williams an opportunity to adjust, and a great throw for the touchdown.
I tell you guys,
Seth Williams came up huge on that drive.
Sorry, Tom. Gus Malzahn had to come 15 yards out to grab Anthony Schwartz. He was pretty animated after that touchdown.
As was Williams, emoting towards Emerson, and Auburn in control.
SEC Network Football is presented by Allstate. You've never been in better hands.
Back in Stark Vegas, where Auburn has opened up the lead thanks to the first touchdown for Seth Williams in 49 days. Here's what it looked like.
Yeah, it was just man-to-man. Mississippi State decides to bring pressure. That's what it is. Your best receiver on the outside. That's Martin Emerson, Mississippi State's best cover guy, but Seth Williams just won at the line of scrimmage. And after some trash talk before the play, Seth had plenty to say right after the touchdown.
Carlson with a knuckleball, scooped up at the 6 by Griffin. He's got room. Here goes Griffin past Carlson. And he's still on his feet inside the 40. And Mississippi State will have sensational field position after a 65-yard return.
You know, after what, 4 field goals through the first 3 quarters or so, let's have a barn burner in the 4th quarter. Mississippi State says, hold up, this ain't over yet. True freshman Griffin with a huge play after Rogers, remember, missed him earlier in the game for what should have been a touchdown. Got an opportunity to show off that speed.
So 1st and 10 for Rogers and State. Chase out of the pocket. We'll dump it incomplete and leave 2nd and 10.
And this is what I thought Kevin Steele would do. You know, he's traditionally a guy that likes man free, man one high. He's playing a lot more 2-man this game. I've mentioned they've manned it up a little bit on the outside and zone on the inside. That play right there, just traditional 2-man. You got 2 safeties over the top to make sure you don't give any chunk plays over the top, and everybody else manned up underneath. And right now, with Auburn winning with their front 4 and getting pressure on Will Rogers, that's the recipe.
Rogers stays in the pocket, lobs it, and it's incomplete. Trying to find Griffin again. McClain will stick around for some words.
That's a really good job there by Pritchett. Looked like he got his hand in there on that one.
Busy Auburn secondary with a couple of interceptions in this game. 3rd and 10 now. Rogers needs 10 for the first down. He'll get it and scramble out of bounds. It's a 13-yard pickup on 3rd.
And this is why you don't see 2-man, as I just mentioned, a ton in college, because usually quarterbacks in college, more so than the NFL sometimes, not so much in this new age, but they're mobile. Will Rogers not necessarily known for his mobility, so you feel like he can go 2-man, but when you do that, there's no eyes on the quarterback. And if the front 4 don't hit home, there's a lot of green grass, and Rogers does a great job of identifying that and just using his legs to pick up that first down.
Nobody in the country throws more in the red zone than Mississippi State does. And they'll try it here. Here's Wally. 8.5 on first down before Monday brought him down.
And down here in the red zone is where Mississippi State has really struggled on the season. They're converting for touchdowns just 45% of the time. And really, when we've seen them have success, like against Georgia, on a couple drives, they ran the football down here inside the 10-yard line. In this offense, windows get smaller, and these spread teams often struggle.
Not struggling here. A shot to Austin Williams, and he'll take it in for an 8-yard score. He was wide open.
Yeah, a little rub play on the outside. You got an inside receiver that's going to plow and take a couple guys with him to open up the wide open space for Austin Williams. I mentioned down here in the red zone, the windows get tighter when you're an air raid team and you're trying to stretch the field. You lose some of your real estate. But that's where rub routes and the ability to create mesh and conflict come into play. That's a great play design.
Brandon Ruiz for the point after. We've got a 6-point game with 8:24 to go. Rodgers finds Williams, and he takes it in to make this one interesting late. Jaquarius Spivey has been ejected from this game. Moments ago, he picked up his second unsportsmanlike penalty of the night. The first came when he was jawing with Roger McCreary. This one was a physical confrontation with Zakoby McClain. Watch Spivey 11 get shoved in the back. He will answer with a headbutt. And McClain goes right, left. McClain picks up a 15-yard penalty, but it's his first unsportsmanlike. He can stay in the game for now.
And Spivey's been at the center of quite a few pushing matches and shouting matches after the play. I never get throwing punches at a helmet, you know? Just, I don't know what we're trying to achieve here. Maybe, you know, maybe an uppercut if you're going to get under the chin strap. Other than that, though, you're just hurting yourself.
And we got more jersey grabbing after the punt.
Now, both these coaches got to make sure that all the position coaches on the sideline are reiterating to these players that it's a 6-point game. A 15-yard unsportsmanlike can change this game, change field position, and you don't want that to happen here late in the fourth quarter.
You're not supposed to do that.
Look at McClain. He's like, I learned my lesson. I'm just going to point at the guy who's doing something wrong.
.8:24 remaining. Tank Bigsby with a stiff arm. And he'll bounce to the outside. Get another shot in at the end for good measure. 18 yards for Bigsby. So what did Chad Morris tell us yesterday? He said some of these runs in the first half are going to go for 2 or 3 that in the second half can get us 6 or 8. It will be ugly in the first half. We've got to tell our guys and our coaches we've just got to stick with the running game, and it's starting to pay off.
Yeah, those linebackers start to pinch in on these inside runs, and Tank's done a great job of bouncing them out, using the speed to get to the corner. Done that a couple times.
Bigsby straight ahead this time. And he'll just take dudes with them and carries them into state territory down to the 45. It's a 15-yard run.
And this is where Auburn's just got to take over the football game up front. This offensive line's been banged up, had 4, 5, 6 different rotations at times throughout the season. But they just got to decide right now that they're going to win this football game by milking the clock, getting Tank going downhill, and controlling the last 7 minutes and 40 seconds.
Marquise Spencer, senior from Greenwood, Mississippi, is injured on the play.
And Spencer's one of their best players on defense, especially if you're talking about Auburn wanting to run the football here, milk this clock, control the game. Spencer's probably the most disruptive player Mississippi State has up there and one of their senior leaders.
It's basketball season. Missouri with a big win and a bragging rights game against Illinois tonight. We've got a college basketball doubleheader on Tuesday. Appalachian State Goes down the mountain to take on, over the mountains really, to take on Tennessee. Coming off a big win against Charlotte today. And Alabama will be home against Furman at 9 o'clock Eastern on the SEC Network and always available on the ESPN app. Marquise Spencer still being tended to. We'll be back in a moment. All right, Dari, thank you. Marquise Spencer now being helped off the field and carted off the field. Cole Kublik is on site. He is efforting some more information. We are not at the game, so it wasn't seen by my eyes, but Cole did tell us before the cart came out there, before the backboard came out, that Marquise Spencer was moving his legs. That's the report we got from the field. And this Mississippi State team, and Marquise Spencer on his senior day, suffering an apparent neck injury and going down right in the middle of the play after going in head first to try and make a tackle. Played his high school ball at Greenwood High School in Mississippi. He's played for 4 different defensive coordinators here. He's played all over the field. Came in as a highly regarded 4-star recruit, and he's played up to that ranking in his time in Starkville. The State fans have shown their support when he was loaded on by ringing the cowbells, and now again as he is carted off the field at Davis Wade Stadium. And so what has been an emotional and chippy game between...
During the timeout, there was a booth-initiated review for targeting. After review, number 42 of the defense targeted the runner with the crown of the helmet. 15-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
And so Spencer, after booth review, flagged for targeting, and he will be loaded up and taken care of. And you hear it all the time, Jordan. The targeting penalty, which is still relatively new in all stages of football, is in the game to protect not just the ball carrier, but also the one making the tackle. Tank Bigsby in the backfield. And he bounces to the outside, gets it to the 20, to the 15, to the 10, and he's forced out of bounds at the 5 by London Kraft, a pickup of 25. Bigsby not short of emotion after the long delay. Meanwhile, they've gone final in Gainesville. LSU has held off Florida after the Gators' kick went wide. A thrown shoe was the difference in that game. And national impact on the college football playoff race as the Gators go down. Here's Bigsby again, left side, and Bigsby picks up 3. Brule slow to get to his feet. And a stoppage of play to get the sophomore from New Orleans out of Archbishop Rummel to his feet. This was a 6-3 game at the half. It was 9-3 Auburn heading into the 4th quarter, when a couple of big plays finally brought some life into this game. A game that didn't see a touchdown until we got to the 4th. And after Mississippi State was able to make it a 6-point game on a quick drive thanks to a long kickoff return, now Auburn trying to answer again. Freshman tailback Tank Bigsby in the game on 2nd and goal. J.J. Pegues, a big tight end, will shift. Nick's going to keep it, try to run for it, changes direction twice. Pegues gives him a block, and Nix takes it in for the rushing touchdown from 3 yards out.
Tom, they had so much success with Tank Bigsby, you had to figure Bo Nix was going to keep one at some point just to keep the defense honest. I'm not even sure if it's the right read from Bo Nix, but he's able to put a move on Tyrus Wheat. Elusive, finds his way to the corner of the end zone to potentially put this game away for Auburn.
A 5-play, 75-yard scoring drive, and Auburn will go for 2 now to try to make it a 14-point advantage. 5 wide for Nix. Quick hitter into the end zone for a 2-point conversion to Xavier Capers, his first catch of the night. And Auburn's up by 14 with 6:03 to go. Jordan, when Auburn needed it most, 2 long drives, a 95-yard drive followed by a 75-yard drive, and the Tigers in a must-win game have a 2-touchdown lead.
And really, it's Tank Bigsby. It's the offensive line. It's the running game for Auburn that traditionally has to go. And then Cole was right. It wasn't necessarily the right read. I mean, the defensive end didn't bite. Yes, you have J.J. Pegues coming backside as a blocker, but that's Bo Nix trusting his athleticism. And something we haven't seen a ton of. Just a quick game, a slant route. Down for the 2-point conversion for an easy one.
Bigsby's put it together, 24 carries, 185 yards in this game.
And Auburn as a team with 213 on the ground, and really that 200-yard mark is the magic number for Auburn. Traditionally, all the way back to 2017, playing the SEC championship, I think they rushed for 206 SEC games that year. And this Malzahn offense needs the ground game to get going to be successful.
Got a flag on the play. Griffin was aiming for another big return.
During the return, holding on the receiving team, number 51. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Time to hear from Dari. Dari, I think Austin Powers put it best. Who throws a shoe?
Yeah, well, Florida did, and it ultimately was part of the reason they lost to LSU guys tonight. Evan McPherson from 51 wide left. And guys, I got Roman and Doring here with me. LSU pulls a shocker and gives Florida a second loss.
Yeah, not many kickers you'd want to have in that situation over Evan McPherson. Just pulled it, had plenty of leg and wide left.
I want to just give you a virtual hug right now, Steve.
I'd like a virtual hug.
Made York hit from 57 to put him up, guys.
Unbelievable game in Gainesville on a weekend where some conferences have decided to sit their teams that are playing in the championship game to avoid any sort of trouble. The SEC and Greg Sankey said, we play on, and we got a thriller tonight down in Gainesville. Completion for the first down. Mississippi State down 2 touchdowns. Earlier this quarter, Marquise Spencer left on the cart and on a backboard. Rogers lobs it. That's incomplete. Cole, you got an update on Spencer?
Tom, Marquise Spencer was taken into the tunnel. The ambulance was there awaiting with a stretcher next to the ambulance. The bay door was then closed, was not allowed access to that, but looked as though he was being prepared to be lifted into the ambulance. I'll give you any further information as soon as I get it.
All right, thanks. 5:31 to go in this one. Both teams trying to snap 2-game losing streaks. Mississippi State had a frantic comeback the last time they played in the Egg Bowl in Oxford, and they nearly came back in that game. Crossing routes incomplete on the mesh concept, and that will leave 3rd and 10.
And that time, Will Rogers just a little rushed. Auburn brought an extra rusher on that play to speed up his process. They got to hit a couple chunk plays, though. You saw Wally miss the corner route a play before this last one. Wouldn't mind throwing a jump ball or a vertical route to Wally or Osiris Mitchell on the outside down here at the bottom of your screen.
Rogers has time. Steps up. Complete. Osiris Mitchell for the first down. Is he able to take it past the sticks for a gain of 15?
That's a great job there. Mitchell being patient. On those crossing routes, sometimes you got to throttle down. And he throttled down right in front of Will Rogers and was able to find him for that first down.
Under 5 to go. Rogers pressure by Papo. He hurdled a guy to take down the quarterback, and it's a 4th sack of the night for Auburn.
And Steele dials up a little pressure here. It's almost a green dog. These linebackers are watching to see where the back releases, where he blocks, and then they're attacking. You see, as soon as Dylan Johnson released, Papo blitzed and got home against Rogers.
Quick shuffle on the line for Auburn. Rogers down the sideline. Inbounds complete for the first down. Pardon me. It'll bring 3rd down after looking at 2nd and 18. Pickup of 11. Heath has returned to the game. Left with seemingly a hamstring injury in the first half.
And he's really their jump ball guy. He's one of their best 50-50 guys. So if that hamstring is healthy, wouldn't be surprised if they try to take a shot to him. You're down 2 scores here with under 4 minutes left. Got to hit a big play at some point.
Rogers again. Bobbled, and Heath grabbing for the back of his leg again. I don't know how much longer he can go.
No. And that's the thing with hamstring. You never really know. You might feel like you're good, and then as soon as you really push it, you try to burst out of it, that's when it tightens up again. He's trying to give it a go, but he's just obviously not 100%.
State scored 10 points in the 4th quarter in the Egg Bowl to make a game of it. They had a chance to tie it with a last-second Hail Mary that fell short. Rogers over the middle, incomplete.
And we mentioned the adjustments, right? The post-snap adjustments by receivers. There, Wally and Rogers, both true freshmen, not on the same page. Rogers was expecting Wally to continue on that deep crossing route, get to the opposite hash. Wally saw coverage in front. He stopped. Miscommunication, incomplete pass there on 4th down.
.345 remaining. And Auburn will take over. Tank Bigsby. 100 yards plus in the second half. Looking to add to that total. Goes out of bounds after a gain of 2.
And he's been dynamic. We've seen him bounce it to the outside when the holes weren't there. Seen him get up the middle and get vertical around the outside, as you see here, after a great block by Frazier on the outside. And how about the cut? I mean, he's just so dynamic when he gets going downhill. And again, the blocking hasn't been perfect. The offensive line has been banged up all year. Number of different rotations. And somehow Bigsby just makes it work.
On 2nd and 8. Auburn knew what they had in Bigsby in fall camp. And an Auburn team that, like everybody, saw their season interrupted. And it was really interesting talking with Gus Malzahn yesterday.
Mississippi State.
He walked through the timeline with us. And he shared some information that really surprised us.
Timer, please reset the game clock to 2:56.
We're talking about the difficulty of this season as a whole for everybody. He said we had pro day on March 1st, and we said, hey guys, enjoy spring break. We're going to get after it when you get back. Well, March 17th, the conference canceled all sports for the academic year. They returned on June 4th. July 30th, it was announced that the 10-game schedule would start September 26th, and they had the first football practice on August 17th. Well, Gus told us yesterday that 2 weeks away from the season, he wasn't sure they were going to play. They had the team meeting, and the team discussed whether or not they wanted to suit up and play football this season. He said it was a combination of everything that was going on, from the social justice issues to dealing with COVID, and people basically being unsure of what the season would look like. Now, as part of that conversation, he said, we'll get back. This is our 10th and final game. We'll get back to campus. We'll reassess where we are, who's coming back next year, what things look like, and then, and only then, will we discuss our bowl situation. But everything they've been through to this point, they really haven't focused on playing in a bowl. They're just trying to get through these 10 games, and he admitted it's been a grind, physically, emotionally, mentally, for this entire Auburn program. And Jordan, it's the same thing that we hear from every staff that we talk to. It has been a tough year all the way around.
Timeout.
Yeah, I think on
Mississippi State.
On paper,
that is their final charge timeout of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout. Timer, please reset the game clock to 2:49, 2:49.
You know, on paper, you think the season started later. It's only a 10-game schedule, but these kids have been on campus just as long, right? And they're used to being done already by now with a break until a bowl game. So they've been in pads more than ever. They've been on a practice field more than ever. 10 SEC games is a different type of grind. And you project forward, you start thinking about bowl games, especially for teams that are kind of under that threshold. You wonder, is it worth it to the kids, right? I mean, usually the best part of bowl games is the fun experiences, what you get to do in a new city, you know, the entertainment aspect of it. You don't really get to do that in this day and age in COVID, and it just kind of means more practices. So I think a lot of coaches are evaluating where their team's at, and if
Cole,
it's worth it.
Were you surprised when you heard Gus say that on the Zoom call yesterday?
I was, but I don't know if I'm surprised by too much of anything, Tom, with college football and college football teams and players and just how things are going. There were just so many uncertainties, so many unknowns. You imagine I mean, he gave us the dates of, you mentioned it a moment ago, when they left after pro day to how long it was before they returned. You have no idea what you have on your hands. You don't know what the continuity is of your football team. So Gus told me before the game, he said, we're probably going to get these guys 3-4 weeks off. They need it mentally, emotionally, physically. It has been a grind, and like Jordan said, what's going to be in it for these guys? I think it's going to be, if they do go to a bowl game, a regular game week, they'll come in, they'll practice for a week, they'll go to the bowl, they'll be there for 2-3 days, and they'll come back. It's not going to be an extended trip. And you just think about everything that went into this season. It's not just the players. A lot of these coaches also gassed, also tired. And Coach Malzahn told us, he said, Dr. Mike Goodlet's been the MVP of this team. Guy's been at Auburn since July of '93. He was on that SEC task force to return to competition. And there are a lot of people that have had a lot to do with us being able to watch SEC football this fall. But pretty amazing that we got in what we did.
2:43 remaining in this one. State down a pair of touchdowns. They get to Rogers and take him down at the 1. It's Derek Hall with the sack, his second of the night, Auburn's 5th.
That just looks like a blown protection for Mississippi State. Cameron Jones at left tackle has had an up and down night, a couple holding calls, and he was supposed to get out on Hall there, and he blocked down. Can't leave that guy unblocked. Not a good sign for a quarterback.
Rogers 28 of 49 tonight. Discussion with Gus after the flag and the whistle. I wonder if Gus is making sure that wasn't a safety on the previous sack, although it seemed obvious that the forward momentum had Rodgers at the 2-yard line. And a safety would be huge in this situation. You're going up against the air raid. Yeah, you have a 2-touchdown lead, but we know how quick they can strike.
Yeah, they're usually pretty generous with those forward progress spots.
Got a good chance.
Timeout, Auburn. Second charge timeout of the half. Be a 30-second timeout.
Got to be on pace here for one of the longer fourth quarters I've ever been a part of.
Yeah, fair. This will be a good look.
Oh yeah, that's definitely out. They're gonna give him that forward progress all the way to almost that initiation of contact there by Derek Hall, which was at least at the 1.5, maybe 1 yard line at the worst for Mississippi State. Right there is about where they'll blow it. Yeah, I'd say right about the 1.
Spotted immediately at the 1. 2:02 remaining.
Can't take those timeouts with you. Might as well use them.
On the previous play, there was a question about the result of the play. The result of the play was the runner was tackled in bounds. Auburn is not charged with their timeout. Second down.
Making sure Rodgers is ready to go. Not an ideal location against a team that's got 5 sacks against you.
We'll see if they back out, but they're showing like they're going to bring pressure.
Slant complete. Austin Williams. And he's able to push forward for a pickup of 9. Great visit with Austin this week. He's really fired up for his buddy Ty Freifogel, the fantastic receiver from Indiana, who's also from the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Freifogel in Indiana having a great year this year. 4-man rush. Rodgers able to get it out to Osiris Mitchell. That'll be good for a State first down. Clock rolling. Or pardon me. That'll bring up 4th down. It was 3rd and 13.
One last ditch effort here for Mississippi State. Looks like Auburn's going to move to 6-4. And if you look back over their schedule, really only 2 games that they were outplayed. Georgia and Bama. Well, should have won the South Carolina game. You're a better team than them, and a lot of opportunities last week against Texas A&M. But
it's Big Cap Bryant who's going to cap his day, which began with a walk across the stage for graduation, and he'll end it with a sack.
Oh,
that's how you celebrate. Gus, get up.
A little bit of vert there from Gus.
Clear the Opelika phone book. Auburn will snap a 2-game losing streak. Cole talked about what's next for this Auburn team, and given the team as a whole a break, it's really hard for these college football teams to take momentum into the offseason. Mississippi State will likely do that, even though it'll be a 3-game losing streak heading into the bowl season. Take that back. They've got Missouri next week on their schedule. Auburn will go to 6-4 and await their postseason destination. Here it is again. Big Cat and his head coach.
He called for it.
Up.
Yeah. Oh, got to get a little more contact than that, you know? Kind of missed on the shoulder.
I don't think anybody wants any more contact from Big Cat Bryant.
Yeah, Gus is probably like, I know better than that.
Mississippi State put the ball in the air 51 times in this game. And the freshman Will Rogers harassed into 6 sacks and a couple of interceptions. Busy day in the SEC. Our final SEC game of the season sees Auburn end a 2-game losing streak and knock off Mississippi State 24-10. Time to get you back to the studio. Here's Dari and the fellows.